Good morning, Raptor freaks. It's Friday, and the Raptors are in NBA Cup action against the Miami Heat today. We got the preview today, and we're eliminated from the NBA Cup already. I don't know if people knew this, but losing the two games already in the NBA Cup has mathematically eliminated us from going to the next part of the NBA Cup. So, unfortunately, guys, we're playing spoiler. We don't have a path to get to Vegas after losing our first two NBA Cup games. And the mathematics, I was looking at it as the situation is like, now the cool thing and interesting thing is, Miami's 1-2 in NBA Cup, and they're not eliminated yet. But if we beat them tonight, we play spoiler and we put them out of the NBA Cup. So basically, in some ways, we're kind of playing to be jerks and say, yeah, Miami Heat, you ain't going there. If they lose tonight to us, well, they're eliminated too. And even though we win, we don't get anywhere with it. We're already out of the NBA Cup in the long run. So it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and do the latest lineup news and the referees for our NBA Cup Emirates NBA Cup game tonight. Game 3 of our NBA Cup games this season. We'll play the last game of the NBA Cup for us in the early rounds next Tuesday against Indiana. And then, of course, there'll be 2 mystery NBA Cup games in the middle of December next month. So, yeah, that's what's going on. All right, let's go look at our injuries. Unfortunately, it was confirmed yesterday that Bruce Brown will not start coming back for the team on this trip. They lied to us. They said, oh, it's very likely that Bruce Brown will play his first game this season on this road trip, but the last game of the road trip's tonight, and he is rolled out for tonight's game. So Bruce Brown will not make his return on this road trip. Could very well be he returns on Sunday, though, just so y'all know. But he's been ruled out already today. Grady Dick is ruled out already today with this contusion of his calf. Emmanuel Quickly is not ready to return until mid-December. And Kelly Olynyk has been a limited participant in practice, but he is still currently out for the Raptors. That's a much shorter list than it's been at times for the Raptors, and I like nobody new has popped up on the list since the last game we had this week against New Orleans. So thank goodness Scotty and RJ don't appear on this list, considering both of them had a couple of things happen in the last game that looked like they could have been injurious. And thank God. Thank God. Starting lineup tonight, I don't know. You guys think they'll start Jacoby again? Could very well happen. Don't break. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And maybe Jacoby Walter in the starting lineup as the shooting guard with Scotty and RJ kind of playing point guard. And then Oshai and Yak out there for the starting 5. That's probably a speculative starting 5. I think that because Jacoby did a good job, that it's very likely that Darko will start him as the 5th starter once again today, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a one-time, hey, we're going to let you do it this time, but you got to also be good coming off the bench sometimes too. We'll have to see. It's up to Coach Rajakovic, and we'll have to see. His judgment is the best out of everybody's, and we'll let him do it. Let him do what he's going to do. Is it going to be Walter? Is it going to be somebody else? We'll have to see. We'll have to see tonight. Miami, let's look at what is going on with them and their injuries. Kevin Love is questionable for tonight's game. It's his back. What's with these old guys and their back, Kelly Olynyk and Kevin Love? Maybe it's just something that I hear, people, as they get older, their back starts hurting. I've been blessed and lucky with this. I don't ever want any chronic back pain. I've been very lucky with this. But, that's something they say. You get older, your back hurts. And, well, Kevin Love and Kelly Olynyk both out tonight, partly because of that. Terry Rozier is probable for the game tonight. Terry's been in and out of the lineup a little bit recently for the Heat. He's day-to-day, and who knows? Maybe he will end up suiting up for tonight. He probably will. Who knows? We'll have to see Scary Terry. He's been switching from starting and coming off the bench, different games for the Miami Heat so far. They're 8-8, a 500 team right down the middle. And the Miami Heat have won 5 of their last 8, and they lost 5 of their first 8. So they had a 3-5 record 8 games in, and now they have an 8-8 record. So they've gone 5-3 in the last 8 games. So that's their record right now. That's kind of the split of it. They have a half of the season 3-5, and half the season 5-3. Just a little primer on what's going on with them. Duncan Robinson is probable for the game tonight also. It sounds like a couple guys are going to be coming back from being kind of hurt and out in Rozier and Robinson. So Duncan Robinson's probable. And Jimmy Butler is also probable for the game, and he's been dealing with a nagging injury with his back, also back tightness for Jimmy Butler. But it sounds like the Heat will be mostly healthy. That Kevin Love may be the only real true scratch from the lineup. And then looking at their starting lineup, then it's Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, Jimmy Butler, Haywood Highsmith, and Bam Adebayo. Who else is on the Miami Heat this year? Well, Duncan Robinson, Pele Larson, Jaime Vasquez Jr., of course, Alec Burks, Nikola Jovic, Kel'el Ware, Josh Richardson, Thomas Bryant, Drew Smith, and that's pretty much their roster right there. So yeah, this is not, this Miami team in the last 2 years, as to me, is downgraded. Is not as good as it should be, and for a couple of years, it's been going downhill. And different key players have left, like Strus and Caleb Martin. And I feel like this has denigrated the overall talent and strength of this Miami team, because they had some really good quality pieces right around when they were getting in the finals in the recent years. And now it's kind of not the same. Kyle Lowry, another one that left. So, yeah, it is what it is. We'll have to see where the Miami Heat are. We haven't played them yet this year. So, yeah, we'll go down and see them in their home arena on an in-season tournament court. Hopefully not that very bright yellow one, but it is probably going to be that one. So y'all might need some eye protection to watch the game tonight. It could very well be like Kramer's apartment in Seinfeld with the Kenny Rogers roasters out across the street with that light, that blinding light. This one will be a yellow court blinding you in your eyes. We'll see. It's going to, in some ways, I feel like this has been a big fail, this Miami court, because it's not enjoyable to watch basketball on. And what is the whole point of watching basketball on TV? Is enjoying it, right? Well, if the court is so obnoxious and so annoying, it takes away from the enjoyment of the game, then you failed, Miami Heat. That's what I'll say to this. So, yeah, be careful of the court. Yeah, this is part of the scouting report. Be careful of the damn court. It's so weird, man. It's so weird. Yeah, I want to see our Raptors do well. And on the download, the Raptors have won 3 out of their last 5, y'all. Their last 5 games, we've won 3 out of our last 5. That's a winning trend. And it kind of coincides with the loss to Boston in the overtime game where Jason Tatum traveled, and also Scotty's return to the action to come back. We've been a winning team since Scotty's came back. Just so y'all know, on the down low, Tank Meisters, Stealth Tankers. Just so you know, we've been a winning team since Scotty's been back. We're 3-2 in our last 5. 3-2. That's right. That's the truth. That's not a lie. We are 3-2 in our last 5. All right, our refs for tonight are a mixed bag. We really got the good, the bad, and the in between. Is really what it is. The good, the bad, and in between. Our crew chief is first time we've seen him this year is Trey Maddox, number 23, 14th season out of Great Lakes, Illinois. Trey Maddox, his favorite show is Power. He likes the movie Training Day. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. He likes to read the book Quiet Strength. His favorite meal, steak and lobster. His favorite app, Fight List. He'd most like to visit Dubai. His bucket list is to attend the Open Championship, and his hidden talent is playing the piano. Okay, tickle those ivories, Nick Nurse. And yeah, I guess play piano with your life, Trey Maddox, because it's something you enjoy. Trey Maddox considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be the first regular season game that he officiated, a double overtime matchup between the Clippers and the Jazz on November the 6th, 2010. Yeah, Trey Maddox is the best ref for the Raptors today, guys, and I'm glad he's in charge. We win 61% of our games. He's in the upper echelon of refs for us as far as, not being a bad entity to be around Raptors games, where he's hurting us. Then meanwhile, the Heat only win 45% of their games with Trey Maddox refereeing. So 61-45 for the Raptors with crew chief Trey Maddox. That's the good. Here's the bad. It's the magician. That's right. We got fucking Kogut for the 3rd time this season. We've already lost 2 games when he's refereed in this past season. And now we're going to get the 3rd time of him. It's like, why do we have to get him the most so far this season? Out of all the NBA refs, he has reffed the most Raptor games now as of today. And why does it have to be him? Murat Kugat, number 32, an homage to Magic Johnson, because he's a magician. 16th season out of Kyiv, Ukraine. He, of course, came across the ocean and became an American citizen very, very young in his life and grew up in New York. So even though he's Ukrainian, he did not grow up in the whole home country. So, yeah, Marat, his favorite TV show is Family Guy. He likes the movie Catch Me If You Can. He listens to Queen. That's interesting. I think that's a change. Was Queen your favorite band before on here? I think it was Billy Joel before. I think you changed it. I think he changed his favorite musician. Like, did that just change recently, Kugat? You're like, oh, Billy Joel's getting old, man. In some ways, I just can't like him anymore. I'd be old myself if I like Billy Joel. So I'm gonna like Queen instead. Queen is a rocking band, and it could be very respectable. Okay, that's interesting that you turned your back on Billy Joel, Marat Kugat, and now Queen is your favorite musical artist. All right, then I see a little silhouette of a man who's got a babushka, and you do the fandango. Okay, Marat Kugat, your name actually sounds like a lyric to Bohemian Rhapsody. His favorite book is The Happiest Man on Earth. He likes Neapolitan pizza. This is new, man. He's changed his profile since the last time we saw him. Seriously. His favorite app is Amazon. Of course it is. You sell out. You Bezos boy. Most like to visit Croatia. That's interesting. To be an Ukrainian, he'd most like to visit Croatia. That's weird. And his hidden talent is he's a magician. We know this. Yeah, Kugat considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be his first playoff game, game one of the first round series between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers on April 21st, 2024. His dad, wife, and children attended that game. So there you go. Kugat is a bastard. Let's just put it that way. He is a bastard. I know I just mentioned his dad was at that game, but he's a bastard. We win 34% of our games. It's been plummeting this season because we've already lost twice this year with him. So we're 0-2 for the season with him. Meanwhile, the Miami Heat win 49% of their games. They don't even win most of their games with him. They're under 500, but it's still 34-49 for the Miami Heat when we're considering the magician ref that's in the middle. And I don't trust that guy in any kind of way. I hope Maddox calls the game and takes leadership role in this game. And Kugat's not doing any funky stuff in the middle referee role. The third ref is Brandon Schwab, number 86 in his fourth season out of Orlando, Florida. Yeah, Brandon's a mixed bag with us. We're literally 500 with him. We had him in the preseason, and we won the game in the preseason that he reffed, but we haven't seen him yet in the regular season. This will be his first regular season refereeing for us this year. His favorite TV show is I Think You Should Leave. Okay, all right. Favorite movie is The Matrix. He likes the book, The Three Body Problem series. His favorite meal is coffee and a croissant. That's very simple, and that sounds like a breakfast. That doesn't sound like a meal, honestly. Brandon, maybe you need to eat more. Maybe you need to be like Chet and get you down at Mandarin and lock the door and get you in there. If you're just eating croissants and coffee for meals, nah, man, you got to get something more substantial. I'm just going to say that. You most like to visit Iceland. His favorite app is Waking Up, and his bucket list is to tour du Mont Blanc. That sounds so bougie and kind of like snobby. The Florida native officiated 5 years in the NBA G League and 4 years at the collegiate level, working in the Sunshine State and Sun conferences. Yeah, he's one of these guys who got hired during the bubble as a full-time ref because he was in proximity to Orlando, and that because he's from Orlando. So, yeah, like I said, we have a 500 record with Brandon right down the middle. And meanwhile, the Miami Heat win 2 out of 3 of their games when he's refereeing for them. So 67% winning percentage for the Miami Heat. So 50-67 for the Heat with the third ref, Brandon Schwab, the younger ref. So, yeah, the ref crew, Trey Maddox is our friend. Let's just put it that way. Trey Maddox is the most friendly ref tonight. Brandon Schwab can be pretty fair, and I don't have a problem with him, but Kugat I have major problems with. And y'all just watch number 32 of the referees and watch for his manipulation. Seriously, this dude's I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things Marat's going to do tonight is he's going to call offensive fouls on screens. He's going to see a Jakob Poeltl maybe put his leg a certain way, and he's going to call a foul on us while we have the ball, and we're going to lose the ball in a turnover and also add a foul to injury. That is one of his main moves right now. Is Kugat really likes the offensive screen fouls, and he will call them on the Raptors tonight. Watch. I'm going to guess he's going to do it twice at least tonight in the game. And it's going to be very monumental, important paces in the game where the Raptors are building synergy and chemistry and starting to go on a run. And then all of a sudden, Kugat's going to call some piddly-ass offensive foul on a screen, and we're going to lose the ball, and it's going to try and stop momentum. I'm calling it right now, this morning. You hear me saying this at 9:30 in the morning on Friday, that you'll see this tonight, maybe tonight around 9:30, maybe earlier probably because this game's at 7:30 or something, or 8 o'clock. I think the game's at 8 tonight, guys. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want it to come to fruition. I'm not trying to speak it into existence. I'm just very observant, and I've seen the pattern of what he's doing, particularly himself. That is one of his moves right now, just so y'all know. All right, there you go. There's your ref report. It's not the worst ref crew in the world, but Kugat is on it, so there's a problem. There's a problem in some ways just because of that. All right, let's see what you guys are saying this morning. We'll do all the regular stuff, the classic card, the Instagram stories, and whatever else we're talking about today. Let's see. Of course, no games in the league last night because of Turkey Day and having Thanksgiving off. No NBA games at all yesterday. Very, very weird for some people that have grown accustomed to watching basketball in the evenings no matter what. Well, sorry. You were supposed to spend time with your family. Well, if you were in America. Up there in Canada, of course, Doug Smith reminding the Americans is like, you guys are a little late on this. Every year, you guys are just late on this. We do this in October. Doug Smith, sometimes you do crack me up. Seriously, sometimes you do. Trevor J saying, y'all always think struggle is being broke. The real struggle is being in a situation that money can't even fix. Man, you know what? That's one of the interesting things about the paradox of money. In some ways, money can solve a lot of things in this world, but it can't solve the intangible things that actually really matter in this world. And that usually has to do with relationships. That usually has to do with, things that just are a truth, an absolute truth in this world that you cannot change. And it sucks, man. In some ways, I'm sure if Jeff Bezos could do everything in the entire world with the amount of money he's amassed right now, he would, but he can't. He could do some things very simply, but he chooses not to. Like end homelessness. Yeah. Jeff Bezos by himself has enough money amassed from his Amazon empire to literally end homelessness if he chose to. You just understand this, guys. This is what we're dealing with. Somebody who has the ability and the means to do it, but he chooses not to because he wants to just make as much money for himself and keep it himself. He literally has enough money that he could give a certain section of it, and every single person in the United States would be housed. That is the damn truth. That's how sick our society has gotten to, that we feed into the monster that's called Amazon, and he continues to amass his wealth over and over and over again, and he's able to move European bridges and stuff like that. But yeah, he could literally become a saint, a modern day saint, and become like a hero and go in the history books and be known forever as one of the greatest men to ever live on this planet. But he chooses not to, because he's such a greedy little shit. How about that? There's a lot of very rich people that could solve a lot of the world's very serious social problems, but they choose not to because they like the system that's going the way it is. And when everybody starts starving and losing their houses in the next 5 to 10 years because of AI and all the greed, well, you'll see that these people are responsible at the top because they have hoarded all the wealth in the world. And they have not thought about the social contract with their workers. And they have not thought about to have a healthy workforce and a healthy society that people need to have their needs met. And they have overabundance for their needs, but they're not willing to share the wealth. That's what I'll say right there. Boom goes the dynamite. Takes your words of wisdom, Trevor J. There you go. Trevor J saying, happy game day. Let's do it again. That's right. Let's win again. Like I said, we won 3 out of our last 5. Let's make it 4 out of our last 6. How about it tonight, Raptors? In some ways, the Heat are, like I said, on the brink of elimination from the NBA Cup. Let's go ahead and push them over the edge. And let's go in there and show them exactly what we're all about right now and how we're building and our energy and how we are striving and achieving better and better every single day, every week this NBA season. That's what I'm all about right there. That's right. Trevor J saying Raptors never had a player coming off the bench that can shoot like Battle. I don't think that's true. We've had Jason Capono. We've had some players in the past in our history that have been absolute money shooters. Like Matt Thomas, he kind of counts, but he doesn't. I don't know. Where do you really stop looking, Trevor? Because this player type has been on our team, and I don't know if that's appropriate to say. Let's just put it that way. Trevor's saying WNBA expansion draft Friday, December the 6th at 6:30 ESPN. Yeah, I'm still miffed because of Ed Rogers denying the WNBA first time when we are supposed to get it. We would be in this expansion draft next week if we were on the schedule that was originally proposed by the WNBA, of including Toronto. But we rejected the first cycle, and now we're in a second cycle with Portland instead of in the first cycle with Golden State. It's because we should be really in this expansion draft and having the team come sooner if we had not, MLSC had not rejected a WNBA franchise. So in some ways, this kind of annoys me, seeing that this stuff's coming up. But it's a good thing for us to watch and see how the process works for when our franchise goes through it. And that's the thing that I'm most interested about it. Nako's saying start Jacoby again. Let him get 20 and 8 and 5. Okay, so Nako's on start Jacoby bandwagon. I'm not against this. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't make any mistakes. He added to winning. And, well, let's continue to see how it is against the Miami Heat today. Yeah, I'm totally fine with it. If he's the incumbent to start again tonight, well, so be it. So be it. Maybe he's going to hold Grady's starting spot for him a while, or maybe Grady's going to be in a positional battle when he comes back. And he may have to fight to get his starting role back because he's injured right now, which is, something that happens in the NBA. You could be playing very, very well, not do anything wrong. You're out, and all of a sudden another guy is sitting in your spot because he's doing very well himself. And this is kind of the situation right now. Trevor's saying, I'm leaving for Miami at 1:30 p.m. on the bus with 22 people so we can have some fun before the game tonight. I'm guessing you're not going on the public bus and you've got a party bus. I know that's just the way Trevor rolls, especially if you're going with 22 people. You can show up at the bus stop with 22 people standing on the curb and get in there. No, this man's got a party bus. I'm pretty sure he does. They're going on the party bus at around 1:30 today to head to the game. Trevor J., our commissioner of fun, will be in the house for our in-season tournament game. I would say this, Trevor, wear sunglasses because that court might be blinding your eyes in person. You may be going in there and it's the last scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So just be careful. I'm telling you, y'all bring eye protection just in case that court is too bright to see. It's like, how do you watch the game if you can't look at the court? That's what I'm wondering today. Trevor, you might have to give us some answers. Nako's saying Queen over Billy Joel any day. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it really was Billy Joel. Like the last time I look at this, I pay attention. And your favorite musical artist, Marat Kugat, was Billy Joel a couple weeks ago. Now all of a sudden it's Queen. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust, and another one's gone, and another one's gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, 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 he's gonna sit by you. Another one rides the bus. Dun-dun. That's gonna be like Trevor today. Do 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 do. Another one rides the bus. Another one rides the bus, and another gets on, and another gets on. 22 riding on the bus. Hey. He's going to sit by you. Another one rides the bus. I'm sorry. That was Weird Al, not Queen. That's a real song. Y'all can hear that song. Seriously, he did Another One Rides the Bus off of one of his early 80s album, Weird Al Yankovic, of course, the genius. There you go. Randolph Phillips is in the house. Game day blessings, beloved Raptor freaks. Another most informative gang. Appreciate the blessings, y'all. Woke up to this day and use it with all the grateful heart to make this world a better place. Hopefully, maybe my dumb little song I just did made some people smile this morning. Maybe Trevor J's like, yeah, another 22 ride the bus. Come in there and sing some Queen songs to Marat tonight. Yeah, sing. We are the champions, my friend. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. Oh, man, I better watch out. If I do too much Freddie Mercury early in the morning, my voice starts cracking like Ben Hogan of Raptors Digest. Yeah, boom goes the dynamite. Boom. Oh. He's one of the hardest people to sing in karaoke, but this man has guts. This man has the balls to go up there and tackle a Freddie Mercury song in front of a room full of strangers. Yeah, I do. I do this. I see a silhouette of a man, with a bushka, the bushka. Yeah, I'll do Bohemian Rhapsody. It's suicidal, but it's fun, and I do pretty good with it. I actually do. I like singing the toughest singers, like Freddie Mercury, Axl Rose, Mike Patton, Robert Plant, Steve Perry. These guys hit some notes, and some people should not be trying to sing them, but old Lex could get away with it to a degree. To a degree, I can get away with it. Yeah, we saw that at the Real Jerk on karaoke night when a whole slew of Raptor Freak family came down there, and we enjoyed a fantastic evening at Real Jerk at Carlaw and Gerard. That's right. That's right. There you go. Isaac Campbell was there. There he goes. He got a cup of coffee and a croissant, and he's ready to enjoy the Raptor Freak stream like Brendan Schwab would with a coffee and a croissant. I'm telling you, man, that's not a meal, bro. Come on now. Are you trying to watch your weight or something like that? What are you doing, man? Some girls just drink a Diet Coke and they call it a meal. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's not a meal. That's barely even like anything nutritious there's nothing in there that's nutritious. You're drinking boric acid from a battery. What are you doing? That's not a meal. A Diet Coke for a meal. I'm like, don't have those kind of meals. Come on now. Good morning, all. It's Kaz. Kaz on the road. It's TGIF, my guy. TGIF on the road again for one more day. I'm on the road again. And then tomorrow I'll sit at home, my friend, because I just can't wait to get off the road again. That's right. That's my friend Chucker Chas, and he's got a 2-finger salute to Maracugat. That's right. That's right. Let's like what's another great Queen song that I can throw in here? Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. Yeah. Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. Oh, man, you better watch out, Lex, or you're Freddie Mercury this morning. Freesy Salceras here. Good morning, fam, and happy game day to you, MJ. I love you. I'm sorry that I have not gotten in contact with you about the channel stuff. In some ways, I'm like, I'm not worried about it right now, but we will figure this out. We'll get it figured out. I love you, Fiercey, and I hope that the birthday week for Fiercey Jr. has been fantastic. All kinds of good, happy things happening for you guys up there. Have fun at Trevor J going to the game. And like I said, wear eye protection. That court is bright in Miami. Trevor, y'all may need to go and stop and get like my welders masks. Get some welders masks before you go into the arena and you get the bright Ark of the Covenant. Whoa! And everybody's face is melted. Remember that part in Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark? That's what that court looks like to me. It's like open it up and Nazis' faces melt. All right. Nako's saying Matt Thomas wasn't fast enough to get to his spots. So you're saying it's about the fastness? Nah, I mean, you can't listen. No, don't listen. Matt Thomas was Matt Thomas. Jason Capono was Jason Capono. You know, we've had these 3-point specialists off the bench. Jamison Battle is not that novel. Now, in some ways, the way he's shooting is really impressive and it's fresh and it's new. But the comparison of the foot speed of Jamison Battle to Matt Thomas is not that negligible. That's not that different. It's not like Matt Thomas is that much slower than Jamison Battle. Let's just put it that way. Jamison Battle's taller than Matt Thomas. That's probably the best advantage he has in that situation. That's probably the best advantage he has there. Kaz is out walking the dog or something. There's a blind man. Oh, it's a blind man. That must be Murat or something like that. I don't know. Let's see. Nako saying the Food album is the first CD I ever got. The Food album? Whose Food album? Whose Food album? The Food album. I don't even know what artist that is. The Food album. Man, you youngsters with your new music. Fiercey saying, when I went to Miami last year, we drove by the Miami Arena right beside the ocean. Beautiful at night. No wonder it's always empty. Too many distractions. Yeah, that's something that happens in Miami. Miami's crowd is late to the game and they leave early, and it often looks empty in their arena. And that is totally true, what MJ's saying, that there's so many other things to do in Miami that have to do with sun and fun and the beach and stuff like that, nightclubs, the people, you know, being at Miami Heat games, you know, there's certain periods of time where it was very, very sought after, like LeBron James era. But there's also been times where they're kind of an afterthought in the community and, you know, they're just not getting the same support as voraciously as they do at other times. That's for sure. There are a lot of distractions down there for sure. And I don't want any of our players getting involved in distractions down there. That's for sure. It seems like it was pretty peaceful, family-oriented Thanksgiving for most of the players. We'll do the Instagram stories very soon, and we'll talk about it. Carlos saying, morning, Lex, the most gracious freaks. Game day alert, 6-win alert. I'm all in on the Queen songs, Lex. All right, you got any requests? Give me a specific Queen song, and if I know it, I can try and sing it. Flash, leader of the universe. Flash, I love that movie, man. And the Queen soundtrack, The Flash, is so underrated. Y'all go get it and listen to it a little bit. There's a lot of really weird, like, interspersal, like, passages between, like, scenes, and you'll hear the characters from the movie talking on the soundtrack. Is like, it's awesome, man. And Von Sandow as Ming the Merciless. Holy crap, that guy was so good. So good. Ming the Merciless was the man. Holy crap. Yeah, we can talk some Queen today. That's right. If you want some more Queen, Carlo, you give me a song. I'll sing it right now. That's right. I'll sing it right now. Let's see. Trevor's saying, no, I hired a party bus. It's a beautiful bus. See, I knew he did. It's not like Trevor's waiting on public transit in South Florida. No. That's a big mistake. Do not wait for public transit in South Florida. That's a big mistake. Big mistake. No, he's got a party bus. And it's a badass bus. I knew he did. I knew he had a party bus. I was like, that didn't sound right. It's like 22 of us were getting on the bus. I'm like, he's getting on the bus? Like TTC bus? No, he's not getting on the bus, Lex. He's got a party bus. Of course, he hired a party bus. Of course he did. Of course he did. We know he did. Carlos saying, when you said Matt Thomas, I thought of the guy from Matchbox 20. Matt Thomas, the guy from Matchbox 20. I mean, in some ways, that could have been that thing. It's 2 a.m. here. I'm alone here. I don't know. I hate that band so much. I don't know their songs. That little bit is all you'll get out of me. I forget what that guy's name is. It's something, Matt something, isn't it? See, I blocked them out so effectively out of my mind. Matchbox 20. I really have. And boy, did he destroy Santana for me also. Damn it. Why did you do that to me? I got to go all the way back to Got a Black Magic Woman. That's my Carlos Santana. None of this crap that y'all did later on. No, Rob Thomas. That's his name. Santana and Rob Thomas. Yeah, just give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it. I want to forget about it. What did you do to Carlos? Oh, yeah. All right, Rob Thomas. Matt Thomas's brother who's in music. Who's, Matt Thomas. I just know Matt Thomas. I don't know no Rob Thomas. No, I don't know no Rob Thomas. No. Naga saying, I like Battle more than Thomas. Battle is faster, stronger. We can build him faster, stronger, harder. Listen, Matt Thomas was during a very, very successful part of the Raptors' history. Right in the second year after our championship, he was on that team when we were playing during the pandemic, and he was even on our team in the pandemic bubble when we took the Celtics to Game 7. In that bubble playoffs. Matt Thomas was on successful teams, and he was just a spot duty guy. In some ways, you're right. Battle's got way more potential. He's just starting out, and Matt Thomas was just a specialist who kind of was in his niche, and he played in the league as long as he could as a very, very good three-point shooter off the bench. In some ways, Battle, I like Battle more too, but let's not knock Matt Thomas for his yeoman's work on the Raptors for a while there. He was on the Tampa team also. And involved in, playing a lot of games for us when a lot of people were out. And he showed up and helped us. So, yeah, I don't want to put that on there. Cass saying, Lex, I put the blind man for Miami's court. That's right, man. Listen, I'm telling you, that court is crazy. They played on it on Tuesday, and it was not pleasant to watch. I'm serious. I might be adjusting the tint and the hue on my TV. That's like something from back in the day. You're old if you remember big TVs that are like tube TVs, and you had a little sliders on the bottom to change the hue and the tint and the color. That's like old man stuff right there. Kids are gonna be like, what the fuck is he talking about right now? Yeah, it used to be on the TV, not on the remote, not in the little visual or audio preferences on the remote in that little menu. No, they had a little thing on the TV and you could adjust it. Well, if I had those adjusters, I might be using them tonight because this Miami court is so obnoxious. Let's just put it that way. That court is obnoxious. It's very obnoxious. And y'all will see what I'm talking about tonight. You'll see it, and you may not want to see it. And just what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying we also had Joe Wieskamp. Yeah. Yeah, he on a smaller scale. Joe Weezy's in this category also. I mean, I could even start talking about the guy we got from New York in one of those trades, Steve Novak. He's another one from back in the day that's kind of like this build of a player. I think that Battle's better than them, though. I think Nako's right. I think that Battle, much like Grady, is not pigeonholed to just be a three-point specialist only. That in some ways he's showing the chops on defense and rebounding and getting after it with different shots on the court and other places than just a Matt Thomas, Jason Capono, Steve Novak kind of bench three-point specialist. That in some ways this is true. Nako's saying is true. This guy has a more fleshed out game. Like Grady. In some ways, Grady was getting pigeonholed in that Jason Capono, Steve Novak, Matt Thomas realm. He could have been that, but no, he's way more than that, especially since he's a high pick. I would be like, why are we using a high pick to get Steve Novak? I'm like, no, this guy's not Steve Novak. This guy gets after it. He has so much more facets to his game than these former Raptors we're naming right now. Way more facets. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Fiercely saying we also had Joe Wieskamp, but he didn't deliver. So Battle is a pleasant surprise, undrafted, and he's cooking from the get-go. Happy for him and for us. Yeah, this is a good, it's interesting to talk about Joe Wieskamp in comparison to Jamison because Joe Weezy was around our team for a couple years and he had all the opportunities in the world, but he just never got in a groove or found a confident shot like Battle has right now. And that's all the difference. I'm not saying that Joe Wieskamp can't shoot like Jamison Battle. It's just that he never did it in the game situations when it mattered. We know Joe Wieskamp is one of the best shooters in recent years around the sport, but he could never get it to happen when it mattered in games. And he would miss a lot. And he missed a lot in 905 too, which is weird. So, I mean, that is a big difference right there. The confidence in Battle and the execution is at a higher level than Joe Weezy. Joe Weezy. Yeah, Joe Weezy. Yeah. Mischief's here. Good to see the base man in the house. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Today is my last day of work of the year before my 6-week vacation. Going to work on my music and body and things around the house. Let's go Raptors. Yeah, I remember you did this last year, I believe, Jay. And you went down south, didn't you? And you were riding around on boats and kind of down near where Trevor J was. I think I remember that. So, yeah, I wish you the best, man. Your last day of work before your long 6-week off for the rest of the year. Yeah, just fantastic stuff. Enjoy it. And I love the fact that you're self-improving during that period of time, that it's all about self-improvement with Jay Mischief. And he's about using his free time to get better and better as a person. And sometimes that doesn't have anything to do with reading or anything like that. It has to do with meditation. It has to do with centering. It has to do with doing the things you love and enjoying yourself. And that's a fantastic thing. I love hearing that, Mischief. I do. Nako's saying Food Album by Weird Al. Eat It. Oh, the white stuff. My baloney. Addicted Spuds. Yeah, that's a compilation album that came out later, I believe, like in some ways, because they didn't call it the Food Album back then. There was the Weird Al album. There was Even Worse, which had Bad and all that stuff, and Eat It on there. Eat It was on even earlier. Did they call it the Food Album? I don't remember that being the name of the album. And I was growing up during that period of time, and I had these albums. Like I had like 3 or 4 of Weird Al's 80s albums. We had Polka Party. We had Even Worse. We had the one with Another One Rides the Bus and the Iron Lung song. Iron Lung song is so weird, man. So weird. Like the Food Album makes me think that he did a compilation album later on of all the food-related songs he had done before. Because I don't think that those songs are actually on the same album together originally. My Bologna, I'm pretty sure, is on that Weird Al album I just talked about with Another One Rides the Bus and Christmas at Ground Zero. I forget what that album's called, though. I think it's just Weird Al, honestly. Let's see. Smooth saying Flash Gordon. I remember that. I had that soundtrack. Yeah, it was all Queen. Brian May's guitar is amazing on it. And they did a lot of little, they did the actual music for parts in the movies. So, you'd be watching the movie and all of a sudden it's like cranking up Queen in the background. You're seeing, he's here for every one of us. Down. He's here for every one of us. Yeah, and then there's like a solo, a Brian May solo. It's like, yeah. Oh man, that was, that movie's fun. That movie's underrated and kind of forgotten at times. Flash Gordon's such a historic sci-fi story from the radio shows and all the things from in the past, but that movie in some ways in the 80s was done really, really interesting. I think that one part where they had to stick their arms in that tree stump, that was freaky, man. And Timothy Dalton, who became James Bond later on, yeah, when he was Baron or whatever his name is, and like, yeah, they're sticking their arms in there, and there's like some sort of creature in that stump. That part in that movie, along with the part in Star Trek Wrath of Khan with the ear thing, will freak the hell out of me as a kid. Oh, yeah. Putting that arm in the stump, and there's something in there that could grab their arms. Ooh, gross, gross. And then the ear thing with McCoy. Yeah, that was fucked up too. Wrath of Khan. Those kind of little movie moments. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Smooth saying, remember Buck Rogers in the 25th century? The princess was hot. No princess was hot. Yeah, Buck Rogers had a good show. They had Aaron Gray was the main female lead on that show with Gil Gerard. And Mel Blanc, of course, was the voice of Twiggy. Hey, Buck. Hey, Buck. Yeah, and yeah, there was a princess on that show. Marky Post was on that show in the late 70s, and boy, was she scorching on that show too. But yeah, Buck Rogers in the 25th century, a TV show. Yeah, great show. Glenn Larson, thank you, man. Thank you for making such great TV shows when I was a kid. Yeah, Glenn Larson Productions. Fantastic stuff, man. That's what I'm saying right there. Along with Stephen J. Cannell. Dun, 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 dun. The A-Team. Oh, yeah, man. There were some good TV writers in the late 70s, early 80s, man. Really, really good stuff back there. Trevor J saying, y'all know the cheapest ticket for New Orleans Pelicans game is $4. Well, that's good. I mean, in some ways, they need to encourage people to come in there. And, man, that's fine, man. $4 tickets for New Orleans, that's great. I mean, people want to go to the games, get the people in the games. That's the thing. You can pay $4 and you go in and you spend $20 more on concessions. So, I mean, it's good, smart business. In some ways, that's part of the reason why you want to lower ticket prices, is because the people can come in and spend money on merchandise and food, and that you want to get them in there in the first place. So in some ways, if the ticket prices are too high, they're not going to come down there and buy anything. So, Keith Pelly talking the other night at the 905 game was saying that, in some ways he wants to make things more affordable for the real fans of the Raptors. And I loved hearing that from him. And the fact that the CEO of MLSC has this on his mind, and that's what he's thinking about and brainstorming about right now, is the right kind of things that he should be thinking about. How can I make Raptors games more accessibly and affordable to the common real fans, people like Raptor Freaks, or people that just can't afford to go to the games normally, but they want to go? Well, he's trying to figure it out for everybody. And he says he has a plan he's going to release in January to help regular fans. I think he said it's going to be a pool. It's going to be a real ones pool where you come and show. You got to actually apply for this, like where you put in your information and you talk about how diehard a Raptors fan you are and what you would do if you get to go to the games. And then they put you on a lottery list. And what happens is they draw names and you get free tickets to the game. It's just that you have to be on this preferred real ones list that's showing that, like, this is a real fan, a positive fan that really truly stands behind the team and is cheering for them. And I don't know how they're going to check all that out exactly, but that's what he was saying the plan is that they're going to do. And they're going to start it in the new year, like almost immediately. So I like what Keith Pelly's saying as far as like making it more right for the real ones to get in there. Yeah. Yeah. Really, really awesome, man. Really, really awesome. All right, let's see. Nameless is saying, fun fact, Miami spells "you love me" in Italian. Miami. Yeah, that's right. Miami. Miami. Oh, Miami. I've been to Miami a couple times. It's a weird place. It's a weird place, man. It's a weird place. In some ways, it's very spread out. It's not very city-like in a lot of areas. It's very low buildings and just kind of spread out beach, kind of, mega metropolis with Fort Lauderdale all the way up the coast. Yeah, it's an interesting place. An interesting place. You can't walk anywhere. You got to drive to get anywhere around there. down there, really. Nako saying Matt was good till the scouting report caught up to him. Well, Matt did not have the best athletic ability in the world. The story of Matt Thomas in the NBA is a technician that really got a good shot, but that man didn't have that many athletic gifts. Let's just put it that way. And the fact that he had an NBA career and did what he did is actually really outstanding because we got to figure out what he's working with here. It's not like this man had hops. It's not like this dude was the quickest, the strongest, or the fastest, or the tallest, but he had a good money shot that could be depended on in certain ways, and that gave him an NBA career. And that's something that's all right. Miami, my moon's over Miami. What would you like, sir? It's Denny's. Moon's over Miami. Nameless. Oh, it's funny. He's doing an Italian lesson still. That's right. That's my plumber friend. Miami. Yeah, I'm not making fun. Carlos saying did a dive on Battle on Summer League. He figured something out with his shot on his last year of college. Very cool. Carlos doing that deep dive and looking into Jamison Battle from Ohio State and his career then. He's like, when did the switch turn on for Jamison? When did he just turn on? I think that it really is Jamison's mindset that's allowing him the success right now. I think that some young people, they came into the league and had this much success, it would go to their heads and it'd fuck them up. But it's not happening with Battle because he's in his neutral state, as he puts it. In some ways, man, then you could start believing his own hype and get all like, yeah, I'm that badass. I'm that. No, that's not what he's doing. He's very matter of fact, and he's not getting overblown in his ego because he's doing so well. And that is actually part of how he continues it. Because in some ways that you do really well success, you have really good stint of shooting so well. Sometimes you can screw that up because you're cocky, you're confident, and you're overconfident. And then all of a sudden it goes wrong. Well, that's not how Jamison is. He described the other day. And it's cool that Battle and Dick both have a similar kind of outlook on this. They really do. In some ways, it's like, I don't care what I've accomplished and I don't care what I've failed. I just need to continue to do the next shot. And I know with my training and my guidance and clearing my head every single time, I have a good chance to succeed every time I let it fly and I take a three. And that's really important. I mean, Jamison Battle has had outstanding success coming from nowhere as an undrafted. Wasn't even a two-way until we switched it to him in the training camp. And, it's really easy for somebody to have that kind of success, screw it up early because they're young and inexperienced and immature about it. And no, he's being very smart about it. Very, very, very smart. Mia Moore. Kareem's been having a Mia Moore week with his 20th wedding anniversary. Mia Moore, would you like to go to Denny's and get some moons over Miami? Yeah, there you go. Fiercely saying $4. A McDonald's combo is more expensive. Yeah, I don't have any problem with this. First of all, New Orleans is an interesting urban center with a lot of calamity that's happened to it, being on a floodplain. And there's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of problems with social problems because in some ways they very much don't care about a social safety net for their community in some ways. And there is problems with crime. There's problems with different issues in New Orleans. And it's tough living in the Big Easy. It's not as easy to live in the Big Easy as people think. Besides the rampant parades of tourists that come around Mardi Gras that trash the city and show their nudity and all that kind of stuff. Satan, that kind of stuff is, it's a touristy kind of city, and it's a cool place. It's a really, really cool place. I've had a lot of fun in New Orleans in my younger days, and but yeah, doing something for the community that actually lives there, that's in the middle of all the chaos, and really has had to deal with like Katrina and different really bad storms at times. That's the least they could do is give back a little bit. I really do like this trend of NBA owners starting to do things like what Matasheba and other teams in the league have done, and they're giving their games away for free over an app. They're saying we want to make all of our games available to all our public to watch. And this is really actually smart business. You gatekeep people out of watching the games. Well, you can't grow and get people to watch more. And in some ways, the way media is going with the way streaming is and stuff like that, they have to change their business model of how the games get delivered to people. In some ways, streams are actually helping the NBA, even though some people say, well, they're taking a part of our bottom line away. Well, you're getting more exposure and more people are watching you and more people are interested because of that stuff. And the owners like Matasheba understand this by making their games, their entire Phoenix Suns games are all available to the public free of charge on regular TV. So, that's a smart thing to do in some ways. You want to get them involved. That's right. Fiercely saying commuting is difficult in Miami if you don't have a car. That's right. You ain't walking nowhere. What do you think you're doing, you streetwalker? You're going to get a prostitution charge walking up and down the street down there. It was like, what are you doing out here walking? Nobody's walking. Get in your damn car. Oh, are you a streetwalker? Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to take you down. There's prostitution is illegal down here. I'm sorry. Yeah. Why were you walking out there? Don't you know you need to wait at the bus stop for 20 hours to get a bus down here, or get in a damn car? Uber, get that app. It is like that. Seriously, unless you're on the beach, you can walk around all over on the beach down there, but don't be walking around on the sidewalk down the street. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying, Smooth, are you watching WWE pay-per-view Survivor Series? Survivor Series. They're having one of these pay-per-views soon here in Toronto. It's not this one, is it? Are they having Survivor Series here in Toronto? Because I know one of the major WWE pay-per-views is actually at Scotiabank in the next couple months. I'm not sure if it's this one or the next one. It might be this one. I saw the main event. It's like the old head of the table, Roman Reigns teaming up with CM Punk, the Usos, and Sami Zayn or something against the old school, the new school of the Solo Sikoa and the other guys, Jacob Fatu and those guys. It's like the new bloodline against the old bloodline in a Survivor Series classic match. That's interesting in some ways. That's interesting. It's very interesting. Let's see. Smooth saying Miami is also very expensive. If you don't have money, it's a struggle. Yeah, it is. It is very, very much. Very, very much expensive. And there are little enclaves of small communities that are lower income that are hidden from you, that are in different places around that you wouldn't drive through because they're just not there. That's part of the city design of Florida. They have these in Tallahassee too, where they put like a ghetto or a community housing project in the middle of the city in a part of the town where nobody ever has to drive into it. And it's just kind of squirreled away. It was shocked. I was driving around Tallahassee for a job I was doing once, and I found neighborhoods in Tallahassee I'd never seen before in my life because I never had to go there. And it was really like they were hiding the real poverty and the really, really sad cases of like extreme wealth inequality in those areas. They don't want to see it out in the rich areas with the golf courses and the gated communities. But those areas are still around there because who the fuck is working all the essential jobs, the service jobs? Yeah, and these areas that are hidden is what's going on there. But it's very expensive. If you don't have money there, well, you have to live a different kind of lifestyle. Maybe you're waiting for the bus for 20 hours. That's what I'm saying. Fiercely saying, I like Battle's demeanor. Seems humble, knows how to answer questions professionally, very demure. Very demure. I don't know if that's the right word for this. I know this is kind of a term that's been in the zeitgeist recently, very used a lot. There's a lot of young ladies using the word demure a lot. Just so you know, Fiercey, because I know you're a francophone and not an anglophone first. Demure is usually a feminine description. It is demure is like a delicate flower. It is basically what it means. It's not like what you think it means in this. It really kind of means, that's an exquisite, beautiful, kind of delicate person is what that means. Just so you know. So Jameson's very demure. Yeah, I don't know if that works. I don't know if that works for this, but it's okay. It's okay. We understand. Kareem's saying, when I was 19, I went to Miami. We weren't allowed to drink because the age was 21. We told the bartender that we were Canadian and laws were 19. Then we showed him our red and white health card. Did that work? I know it didn't. I know that shit did not work. Seriously, this is something that happens to Canadians that go for March break to Florida every single year. That, I remember my dad telling me him and his friends drove to Fort Lauderdale for spring break when they were young and crazy. Yeah, well, that doesn't work. Knowing law enforcement and the laws in the state of Florida from growing up there and being a youngster who drank underage in that state, This doesn't work. That excuse does not work. They will laugh at you when you say that, and you say, yeah, well, that may be in Canada, but down here you have to be 21 to drink. Now, in some cases, they don't care. It used to be before, they looked the other way and let a lot of different people drink in different ways down there. You could get away with underage drinking, but they've tightened up and cracked down a little bit more because of craziness with drunk driving and also house parties. A real problem in Florida is that at the main universities, Florida State, University of Florida, University of Miami, there's a very crazy party school atmosphere where there's a lot of kids coming to university for the first time doing keg parties, and they get out of control. In fact, when I was at Florida State in the 90s, it was so out of control with the house parties around Doak Campbell Stadium and Stadium Drive down in Tallahassee that they actually started a new unit in the police for Tallahassee Police Department called the Party Patrol. And they literally had one job, and that was to go around and bust underage drinking parties in Tallahassee all over the city. It's crazy. So, yeah, this is a big issue down there. And they take this very seriously because Florida is an epicenter for spring breakers. And there's all kinds of kids from other places like Canada and all over the U.S. that converge on that state to go and try and party when they're on March break. So, yeah, they probably laughed at you, Kareem, right? They probably laughed at you when you said that. You showed them the health card. You didn't even show them a license. You showed them a health card. That's hilarious. Jimmy's saying, mi amore means my love in Spanish, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's true. That's exactly right, Jimmy. Mi amore, my love. That's exactly right. We don't need my Italian teacher to know that one. Jimmy, great to see you, Popa Positivity. Kareem Thomas is saying, Miami served us drinks. I hold that place close to my heart. They did serve you drinks. Okay. We got to remember, too, how old Kareem is and that this was probably decades and decades ago. In some ways, they may be still lax in certain places, but they really do need to watch out because people will get them in trouble for serving underage down there. They really will. And all kinds of businesses watch out for their liquor licenses on this one in particular. Places I worked in Tallahassee, like Bird's Aphrodisiac Oyster Shack, zero tolerance on this stuff. And they were always making sure people were of age legally to drink any alcoholic beverages down there. That's right. They served you down there? Okay. They looked the other way. This happened to me in New Orleans, actually, one time. I went to New Orleans when I was like 19, and they served me there. So, yeah, there are certain places in these states, even though most of the laws are 21, where you will get served even though you're not of age. Yeah, Carlos saying we also need to consider the Darko factor with Battle. Darko seems to have a way with players blossoming. Yeah, I want to give him credit on this. I think that in some ways it's a couple of different facets that Darko does. He's nurturing and encouraging, and he builds the players up with confidence. And then also one of the things is he makes room for them to grow into. And starting Jacoby is a great example of that this week. That, there's one thing to say, I'm a development coach. I'm going to develop these guys. Okay, Nick Nurse, but you never play them. That's not developing them. So there's a good balance of Darko nurturing and encouraging and in talking to them and giving them plans for how to grow as players. And this is the way you should do this because these skills are helpful to our team. And then also he actually comes through with making room for them in the rotation and the starting lineup, just with minutes and opportunities like that. So that's part of it right there. I like that. I like that. Trevor's saying, just called my friend in Miami. I told him I have 22 people with me coming to Miami. You said, let's have a party. Come to my house. And he lives in a mansion. That's what I'm saying. I think this is Trevor J is the example of the rich get richer. That dude's just got a badass life. And, well, his friend's like, well, you got 22 people come to the game. Come on over to the mansion and hang out before the game or after. I'm not totally sure. Either way, he's going to a Miami mansion party today around the Miami in-season tournament game. Trevor just lives that Ric Flair life. Woo! Jet flying, high styling, profiling. Woo! Yeah, daddy. Woo! That's right. He's got that Ric Flair life. That's right. Smooth saying at Trevor J. Yes, I will watch. Don't like the 6 p.m. start, though. Oh, for Survivor Series. It is what it is. In some ways, I've seen this thing recently where they're talking about, I posted it in this wrestling group that I run, that WrestleMania, the first one in 1985, actually started at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. That's right. It was at Madison Square Garden on a Sunday, and it started at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and it got done by 3:30 p.m., And then after WrestleMania, this is Hulk Hogan, Mr. T versus Rowdy Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. They had a Rangers game against the Leafs. Yeah, in the same day in Madison Square Gardens of WrestleMania 1. WrestleMania was in the afternoon, and they had an NHL game later that night, and the Rangers beat the Leafs on the same day of the first WrestleMania. Just a little fun fact, just so y'all know. You think it's early? That's early? Well, 1 o'clock was when they started the first WrestleMania, y'all. Isn't that crazy, man? That's crazy. I think that's crazy, man. I think the early start is good for older people. Some people have a movement to say normalize starting concerts at 5 p.m. Because people get tired. They don't want to stay up till 11 to watch stuff. I get it. Yeah, Fiercey's got Darko on blast. And Trevor's giving my cues for Instagram stories and the classic cards. So we'll do that first. Let's do Instagram stories real quick. We're at an hour in. The WNBA, Teresa Resch, president of Toronto's team, has got Mike McKay on her Instagram talking about there's a need in today for transformational coaches. He's talking about giving awards to coaches that make a difference in women's sports. So very, very interesting stuff with Mike McKay on the Instagram of Teresa Resch. Young Oach showing his girlfriend off and saying that he's very, very thankful. I'd celebrate Thanksgiving anywhere with you. So thankful for you, Young Oach. And that's his girlfriend saying that. That's Avery Brandemeyer is her name. And there's some pictures included with this, and they look like such a wholesome couple. A very, very nice fit on both of them. And they, how happy is this? This is a fiance. Yeah, they're engaged to get married. So yeah, Ochai's winning at life. I'm sorry. He's winning at life. And he's also, winning in the NBA again because the Raptors are 3 out of their last 5. And he's doing really well. He was the star of the game the last game. That's right. The Raptor is showing off his misses as a mascot and dunks. He's got his top 5 worst missed dunks. If you like hilarity, follow 95 the Raptor on Instagram. I'm going to see all of his botched dunks from 30 years of being the Raptors mascot. Jacoby Walter is showing off. They did a little clip of him talking about coming to start in the game the other night. It's an open gym moment. And he's talking about how much it means to him and how much he's blessed. And it's just a fantastic moment. Really awesome that he got to do that. And hopefully his whole family was there to see him make his NBA start, his first ever. Slim Duck was celebrating it also, and he reposted Slim Duck's celebration of Jacoby. And also there he is with his family in Miami for Thanksgiving yesterday. And it looks like his sister and his parents are there with him in Miami under the palm trees celebrating Turkey Day yesterday. There's Slim Duck's post on Jacoby. He put Young Thug over it, and it looks hard. And in some ways, Jacoby Walter, you get him the respect of an old vet like Chris Boucher, and he wants to celebrate your accomplishment at starting your first game with you. Jamal Shed has got some lady who's getting hair did or something. That looks like some Thanksgiving shenanigans with some of his family there in Miami also. It looks like RJ Barrett is saying, keep hooping, Rook, to Jacoby Walter. So he's replaying the Jacoby Walter clip also and saying, keep hooping, Rook. So RJ don't see him as a threat to taking time from him, as somebody who could take his job. No, he wants his rookie to be as best as he can because he understands the stronger everybody is on the team, the stronger the team is overall, and the more we win. And he's not a selfish guy like that. So I like RJ encouraging Jacoby Walter to keep going. There's Jonathan Mobo checking in Miami, Florida. The blue skies and palm trees and the trees, the buildings. Of course, J-Mo's home. This is where he's from, is down there, Palm Beach. And yeah, he had hopefully a very good Thanksgiving with loved ones and family. Understand the grind on blast on Norman Powell's Instagram. He's got lots of pictures of fitness wear that you can buy with his branding on there. It's just in time for Christmas. So y'all, seriously, if you're looking for a Christmas item that you want a special one for a Raptor freak or a Raptor fan, a Norman Powell fan, go get some Understand the Grind gear and send it to them for Christmas as a gift. How about that? That's a great job. That's a great idea. There's Grady checking in Miami. Looks like he's got a nice little hotel condo there. He's wearing a cool shirt and a chain. And yeah, he's just checking in. Miami. I'm here. I'm in Miami, y'all. Jameson Battle celebrating the 905, celebrating him for his career high of 24 points against the New Orleans Pelicans on Wednesday. And yeah, he's getting, and his girlfriend is reposted it, Taylor Wentland. So yeah, Jameson's getting celebrated by his girlfriend. You know, there's a lot of girlfriends around some of the Raptors on their Instagram right now. Let's see. There's the Raptors showing the Jacoby Walter post, and there's also a picture of Davion before the game with his head down. And let's see what else. Emmanuel quickly next to a pool in Miami. There's the palm trees and the sparkling blue water, and there's a little basketball goal there. In fact, I've seen this house before. I think that Emmanuel quickly has been at this house this summer when they were in Miami working out this summer. So it could very well be a house that he owns, a condo or something down in Miami. So Emmanuel's in some ways at home. Shamshay celebrating Jacoby Walter. And guess what, guys? Shamshay has a picture of the palm trees of Miami up. He is with the team in Miami today. So it's very possible that Shamshay will be dressed for today's game and available to be inserted in the game if possible, if needed. So we may see Prince Shamshay on the Raptors court tonight. Part of it is that the 905 are on hiatus around Thanksgiving. They had their game earlier this week, and they have like a whole week off. They don't play again until Wednesday. So they played on Wednesday against the Maine Celtics, and now they have a whole entire week off. So they literally sent Shamshay and Carton to Miami, and they're both down there and available for tonight's game if necessary. Now, one of them may not be dressed, and they may just be down there to sit and be with the team as two ways. But just so y'all know, Ulrich and DJ are in Miami today, and they could be playing tonight for the Raptors. There you go. There's DJ Cartons, there's Jacoby Walter, and there's his check-in in Miami. Happy Thanksgiving down from Miami, Florida. There you go. Jamal McGlure showing imagine bunting just to absolutely body someone. He's got a little baseball clip where this guy's running down and he just wanted to hit the pitcher. That's pretty funny, actually. There's Siakam celebrating Thanksgiving with his mother and the beautiful food that they made. And it looks so happy. The Siakam family doing Thanksgiving right yesterday. I guess that was in Houston, where they were eating the food in Houston. I guess that's where they were on the road or whatever, but he's with his mom on Thanksgiving. And then Davion Mitchell posting some Sacramento Kings highlights, seeing something that his former teammate did in the game and thinking it's pretty cool. So he's still got affinity for some of his teammates on his old team, the Kings. And there he is interrupting Jamison Battle's post-game interview. He posted that on his Instagram also. And he's at Remy, guys. So Davion, while he's in South Florida, he's checking over to Hollywood, and he's going to Remy training. I know that court very well with the color scheme, and that is the habitat of Gary Trent Jr. in the offseason. So, yeah, Davion Mitchell at Remy putting in extra work yesterday, just so y'all know. That's where he was. And there's his food. He's saying, this is what he's saying. All right, now, everybody calm down. It looks like he had a full plate, but he left the pulled pork or something there. What are you eating for Thanksgiving there? That meal looks interesting. It looks like some baked beans and something, some fried chicken, some corn on the cob, some ham. Ooh, that looks pretty good, actually. Yeah, Davion showing off his meal. Kelly Olynyk had a post, too. I don't know where it went. I don't know where it lost it, but he was showing off his Thanksgiving meal last night also. And I'm pretty sure it was a buffet style, and it was the one for the team in general. But I have no idea where it was exactly. And Kelly Olynyk was celebrating American Thanksgiving down in Miami last night. So there's your Instagram stories real quick. Yeah, Thanksgiving celebrations. And our two ways are all in Miami right now. You know? That's the best thing to find out from Instagram. The Shamshay is in Miami, and he could possibly be playing for the Raptors against the Heat and Kel'el Ware tonight. Wouldn't that be an interesting matchup? Shamshay versus Kel'el. This is kind of something to see. You know, Kel'el Ware is an interesting player. There's been some raps on him as far as his attitude and whether he's a team player. And, he's had mixed success so far since joining the Heat organization this summer. You know, he had a really good summer league. And he was one of the most dominant rookies at Summer League. And, he's been thrown in the fire to an extent so far this season with the Heat's injuries, and with a mixed level of success. Let's just say that. Just a mixed level of success right there. Yeah, let's see what else you guys are saying. Let's see what else y'all are saying. Trevor's saying half of these people I know are part of my circle. Those are the people who show me how to get that money. There you go. He's with the entrepreneurs. He's with the people that help them get a leg up to get where he's going. And in some ways, he's paying them back with respect and a fun time going to the game today. That's right. Trevor J., you just have a fantastic day. I know you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving yesterday with the family and making all the great food and just having a nice time. If you're just saying, oh, shoot, I take back that Demir comment. Battle is not delicate in my eyes. He's not a flower. Yeah, that's the whole thing. A lot of women are saying, "Is that demure?" Demure. That's what it means, kind of. It's okay. Fiercey, you ask me about word meanings all the time, and in some ways, I always want to educate and think and clear things up. I think that in some ways, what you're trying to say, he's clear headed and very stable, and he's just kind of even. And I would say the word is serene. How about that? He's a very serene person. I think that's the right word. Very, very even keeled and unexcitable, either happy or sad. He's just very neutral. Like the word neutral fits it so well. He's neutral. He's not overexcited about success, and he's not getting down if he's failing. And he's just neutral. And that's the best way to be if you're a very high level 3-point shooter in the NBA. There you go. Carlos saying this year has been amazing so far. Everyone that gets playing time had their moments, unlike the previous years. This is something that could be attested to our coach Rajakovic. Is, in times in the past, I've noticed Nick Nurse in his 5 years of coaching the Raptors, he put guys in situations that were maybe a little unfair, where they were set up to fail. And that's not a good thing for a coach to do. Is put people in situations where they're kind of in a bad place and they're set up to fail. My criticism or surprise about starting Jacoby is kind of intertwined with this. That, if he started Jacoby on Wednesday and Jacoby just shat the bed and absolutely was horrible, it could really hurt his confidence, and that could hurt his development as a young rookie. And, Darko's paying attention to Jacoby in his games in 905 and how he was playing in the poise, and he saw certain things in it. And he said, "You know what? I feel confident in starting him against the Pelicans on Wednesday." And he did. Now, he could have thrown him in the deep end and he could have drowned, and it would have really hurt his development. But Darko saw that there's a place for him to flourish and really get something really good out of it. And that's what happened. Sometimes Nick Nurse would put people in situations where they were just doomed to fail. And that was not good for team building or development for that individual player. And that's what I'm saying. In some ways, I want to give credit to Darko for for analyzing and giving guys opportunities at the right time so that they can succeed. Because sometimes coaches can set up guys to fail, and there's nothing they can do about it. Some of the stuff with Gary Trent in the last 5 years, or the last however long he was with the Raptors, some of the time stuff with Gary Trent on our team, he was doomed to fail because partly the way Nick Nurse was using him. I'm going to be honest about that. Seriously. Yeah. Fiercely saying, yes, stable and serene. Kumbaya. Yeah, exactly. In some ways, it's like he's not excitable. He's not excitable. And in some ways, that's good. Because sometimes you got Raptors fans are the worst. We're so excitable either way, depressed when we lose, and over the moon and crazy when we win. And in some ways, that's what we're talking about. Be more even keeled like Jamison Battle. Just be more like, yeah, we're supposed to win. Why am I excited about it? This is what we're trying to do. This is what Popovich said, that he didn't want the Spurs to over-celebrate their wins and victories all through the years of Manu and Tony and Tim Duncan. They wanted to act like it's just normal everyday occurrence. And that's part of the reason why the Spurs won at such a high clip, is because they didn't get all crazy about wins. They're just saying this is the normal action that we're supposed to be doing. And, in some ways, that's the attitude of Grady Dick and Jamison Battle with the shooting. It's like, yeah, oh, yeah, I made the threes. Well, of course, I'm supposed to. Oh, yeah, we won the games. I'm an NBA team. I'm supposed to. That kind of attitude is important in some ways. It's just like you want to be a winner. Well, act like winning is something that's just normal and supposed to happen with you. And don't get all crazy and, woo, we won, yay, yay. Because then it's like, whoa, that seems like that's very special. That's very special to you that you won. Right there, that's right. Kareem saying, I need Battle to steal Scotty's three-point celly. It just hits more with the named Battle and fire and shot gestures. Okay, you want him to do like blam, blam stuff? You know that we're anti-gun violence as an organization. And I'm very much an advocate for gun control and anti-gun violence and gun violence. That's what they put on the backdrop of the interviews for the Raptors. Stop gun violence. And you're like, I want to see Battle shoot more on the court. Like, come on, Kareem. No, you're missing the message. You're missing the message here. Trevor's saying NBA says they want Google Maps to stop putting the player's location where they live because of the break-ins. That is very smart. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Technology is a wild west, And there's a lot of things that can be done in this weird time where there's not total regulation in certain ways, and there's some kind of things that slip through the cracks. This is interesting. I've heard about the recent phenomena of a lot of athletes' houses getting burglarized and broken into. Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks was one of these people. Mike Conley apparently got his house broken into. There's some NFL players that have had this happen recently. So they're saying that part of the problem is Google is sharing the locations of these people's houses, and it's becoming knowledge, and these people are seeking them out and targeting them. Well, there you go. In some ways, technology and AI and all this stuff has unforeseen ramifications. And people need to understand this. And that in some ways, like I said, you might as well be tying up a horse at the OK Corral because we're in the Wild West of online and all this kind of stuff. And anything goes right now. And in some ways, the lawlessness of the Wild West, you shoot a man at high noon. Well, we're on that in the internet right now, in the period that we're in right now. And at some point, they're going to have some sort of level of regulation. But at the same time, where do the corners of privacy and rights of the individual user and all this kind of stuff, where do they intersect, and how does it all get meted out for what is decided on what? Do we sacrifice security for privacy, or do we sacrifice privacy for security? Because in some ways, they have very, very good privacy rules on the internet in Europe. And in a lot of stuff about surveillance and watching people online and doing stuff, they very much value people having their own privacy. And their rules are very different in that continent than they are on North America. And in some ways, this is going to be a battle at some point. Is it worth it to have less privacy to have a more secure, safer world? Or is it more worth it to have the privacy and just have a little bit of unsafe things happening? This is going to be a big topic more and more in the next few decades. And they're going to have legal battles with lawyers and figuring it out with the court of law, what exactly the rules are at a certain point. And I'll say this right now, it don't make no sense to be putting on blast where these people's houses are. Seriously, that don't make no sense at all. That seems like a privacy issue right there. That seems like a very big privacy issue. Kareem saying, hopefully the Raptors are on a treadmill beside the poolside, burning some of that turkey off. Well, I think that's what Davion's story was. It's like, all right, y'all, chill out. I'm okay. It's like he didn't overeat. I mean, this is something, you got to think about in every kind of way. You got to think about, what, did you stay out till 4 a.m. drinking and partying with a bunch of strippers and eating wings, James Harden? And then you came to the game. I mean, we've heard stories recently from the We the North book and different stuff like that. Not the We the North book, the Jurassic, the one by Alex Wong. We're talking about how, John Sally had a party in the first year of the Raptors and invited all the Chicago Bulls to that party. And the night that we beat the Bulls in Skydome with Damon Stoudemire and them, they were all hungover and all messed up from the night before being out partying in Toronto. That's what we got to wonder about sometimes. Like, I don't think our guys are really drinkers or really kind of party guys, but they probably do like the nightlife and making appearances and being out there. And you got to balance like your private life with your professional life. You don't want to just be all work and no play. It makes Jack dull and he goes crazy red room in a shining hotel. But also at the same time, you got to think about what you eat, what you drink, how late you're staying out. You got to think about everything if you're a high level athlete that's performing in the NBA. And, these guys had to make decisions yesterday when they were thinking about their Thanksgiving meals. As far as like, well, do I get thirds or something like that? Or do I eat this cherry cobbler or something like that? This isn't exactly on my diet. It's Thanksgiving, though. Go ahead and do it. Okay, Mom, you're right. You're right. I'm going to do it. It's just Thanksgiving. This kind of stuff can be a factor around this holiday that they had in the States yesterday. And I don't want to see, like, tonight, this is one of the things we've had problems with the Raptors recently is slow starts and letting the other team get out all over us, and we're not hitting shots at the beginning. A sign could be they're sluggish and not getting after it, partly because they have tryptophan running through their veins, and they're a little bit more bogged down from the food baby that's moving through their system. I mean, we get into everything here on the preview, and in some ways, this is a factor that we need to think about. That Thanksgiving was yesterday, and in some ways, we got to wonder how many portions were going into the bodies of the Raptors yesterday. in some ways. You know what I'm saying? Carlos saying, been thinking about this, Lex. Social media is like introducing the humankind to the hive mind system where you can see everyone's thoughts and feelings. Yeah, that's a deep thing. And, you're totally right. In some ways, this channel is like this. In some ways, we're an example of a hive mind because we kind of all come and bring information and we share it and we kind of shape opinions off of each other. And we also kind of like, we're collective. And that's that kind of stuff. It's very interesting. There's a lot of really cool social phenomena because of online stuff. Obviously, Facebook was a huge, huge change in the world. And like I said, there's so much stuff that's getting shaken out that over time, you'll see the reverberations. And Facebook now is totally different than Facebook in 2007. I think you guys can say this. Before, it was about for college students. In some ways, it was a lot more innocent. There was a lot less advertising and trying to make money off of Facebook. It was just more used for social media. And, there was a really nice golden era of Facebook from 2008 for maybe 10 years where it was actually pretty cool. And now it's getting more and more worse. In some ways, I know from the inner workings of being a high level admin for a very sizable Facebook group that I've seen in the inner workings of what they teach their admins and stuff is some of this stuff is not for humanity. They had a thing that they were trying out that they let me see where they were going to do this thing where if you liked comments or things that people said, you could give them rewards for it. And it was like a little dopamine rush. And they tried it out, and it was actually really cool because it was fostering positivity. It was giving people good feelings of accomplishment, of like contributing. It's basically the thing was like, all right, you take Facebook and you have a post. And if somebody adds a comment that answers your question or is just funny or is a very helpful, you could actually give them like a Facebook reward. They had this all laid out and it was in the algorithm and in the site, but they took it away. And I wrote a letter to Facebook and I was saying, this is something that can actually add happiness and joy into the world. And you have the ability to do this. And you did a pilot project and it was very successful, but you're choosing not to do it. And it made me realize more and more the motivations of Zuckerberg and Facebook are not for good. That they have an actual tool that they used, and I saw that would be very, very helpful in society because it's giving just credit to people that are helpful, and you could actually get like a little, it's kind of like in a video game when you win a prize and you're like, oh, that little moment when you get an Easter egg or you win something, and then you get the prize afterwards. Well, if you're going around and doing good and giving good information, and then other people are giving you points for it, you feel good about it because you feel validated for being helpful. But no, that's too positive and too good for society. And Facebook nixed it and said, we're not doing this. They may roll it out at some point. If you ever see this happen at some point, know that they've had this for a long time and they chose to withhold it from adding it to Facebook until that point for some whatever strategic reason that they did. Could very well be they have this extra part to Facebook, but you have to pay a little extra to have Facebook Plus, and then you could do this. I don't know. I saw this, and this is like 5 years ago, and they never implemented it. And to tell you the truth, it was helpful and happy kind of thing they could have added to as an aspect of Facebook, a reward system, but they took it away. In some ways, the little happy faces, the smiley faces, the angry face that they put in for the emotes was a halfway doing what they were going to do, but they didn't fully do it. It's very, very interesting stuff. This topic is fun to talk about. And I don't mind talking about the ever-changing world of technology and what it means for social society and socialness. Yeah. Now let's see. Kareem's saying what's cool about such a young team is that most of them have no kids and are able to build good chemistry off the court doing stupid shit like video games and bowling. Yeah, I mean, we've had Raptors cohorts that have been at different levels. The early young guns of Amir Johnson, Terrence Ross, Kyle Lowry, and DeMar DeRozan before they had children was that kind of feel. But then Kyle and DeMar had kids. And then near the championship, we had a team full of guys who had kids and were family men and were married. And then at some point, we kind of went back to being a team of people that don't have children. And it's weird because like Garrett Temple had the birthday party for his kid. And Dennis Schroeder had the birthday party for his kid last year. And Darko and Garrett were the only people that had kids that showed up to that birthday party for Dennis's son, I believe, was Junior's birthday. And that's telling. Most of the players do not have children. Most of them do not. I don't even think Kelly has kids at this point. I mean, yesterday he was showing his Thanksgiving thanks to his ladies, and it was his wife and his dog. And I don't think that they've chosen to have children, Kelly Olynyk, and he's one of our older players. We know Chris has a child, and Scotty now has a child at this point, apparently. So yeah, I think there's something to this. And I think that in some ways, this phenomena symbolizes where you are with your roster build with the age frame. Well, do your players have kids and families? No? Okay, then you're a young team. Does your team have a lot of married people and with kids? Then you're probably an older veteran team in the league. And that's probably a very good indicator. Trevor's saying because all the break-ins, the robbers take jewelry. Yeah, in some ways, you have a very gaudy life. You show it off. In some ways, the very smart rich people don't show off their stuff, so nobody knows that they have it, and then they're not getting targeted. It's like small timers who just want to brag and stuff like that. Well, they get in trouble, and people come and get their stuff. So in some ways, it's not so good to be ostentatious with your wealth because you become a target, and that's part of it right there. Brian's here. Good to see you, King, in the morning. Dap, dap, dap. What's up, Freak Nation? Let's hope the Raps keep the momentum going, bringing their talents to South Beach. Okay, that hurts when you say that. But, I get the illusion there. You're talking about that. Yeah, well, good morning to you, King. And I see that you're getting on to Drake for using the word wowzers on your Instagram story. That's hilarious. He's like, what grown man uses the word wowzers? Brian always goes in on old Aubrey, and it's hilarious when he does that. Nins is here. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Nins. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. It's TGIF. We got an in-season tournament game tonight. Raptors are playing. Let's have a great Friday. Enjoy our day and watch the game later. That's right. Fiercely saying, yes, Dennis and the Raptors birthday cake. Awkward. That's right. They ordered it way ahead, and then he got traded to Brooklyn. And the Raptors cake that they had at that event. And they had the birthday party in Toronto, too, because it really was a transitory time between moving from Toronto to Brooklyn for the Schroeder family. But that shows the class of our guys, Garrett Temple and Darko Rajakovic, showing up with their wives and their kids to celebrate that birthday party with Dennis. That's just fantastic. And that's part of why Dennis loves our organization. And he has nothing bad to say about us, even though we only gave him 6 months as a Raptor. And he would have wanted a way longer time with us up here because he really does like Darko a lot. But the fit wasn't right. And it just was what it is. It is what it is. Mike's saying Kelly is saving himself for next time Swifty is in town. Laugh out loud. What are you talking about? Kelly's married. It's not like he's pining for Taylor Swift. What are you talking about, Mike? That's crazy. All right, let's do the classic card of the day. Why not? That's the next thing we'll do right now. Let's see. We're at the end of the chat. Why not? Let's do the classic card. I don't want to do that one. That one, I feel like I've done that guy recently. Okay, yeah, we'll do this one. All right, guys, here's the classic card of the day. First person to write in the full name answer of the person on this basketball card will get Raptor Freak trivia points, so don't screw it up. Yeah, Clyde Drexler, you're going to write in already, fiercely. All right, hit your live buttons, y'all. Make sure you're not 45 seconds behind and get it right. Clyde Drexler was the other day. Here's a new one. Here we go. Can you see who that is from far away? We'll bring it in closer and closer, and we'll see if you can get it as I come in closer. This is a tough card. It's a very shiny card. This card isn't too classic. We'll just put it that way. This is not a decades-old classic card. Let's see who finds out or figures it out the closer I get it. It's like the eye test. Can you get it from this far away? Can you get it from this far away? Okay, here we go. Nins is going to get it today. That is DeAndre Ayton when he was still playing for the Phoenix Suns. And maybe the hair and the head shape gave it away because it was kind of a silhouette profile from the side. You couldn't really see it that well. There you go, Nins, getting the classic card of the day. That's right. It is DeAndre when he was on the Phoenix Suns. Fantastic stuff. I love seeing a new name go on the classic card charts. Let's see. Let's put it in. DeAndre Ayton. And it is Nins coming in and getting some trivia points today. You know what? I'm going to give you a 150 because it's your first time. I normally give 100 for that point, so I'm going to give you an extra 50 for that. There you go. First one you got, and you came just in time. There you go, Nins. Good stuff. I love it. I love it. And you were the quickest on the draw there. You thought that was a Cleveland jersey, Mike? That's kind of does look like a Cleveland jersey. I mean, it's a dark jersey, and you can't really see. I mean, I kind of hid the Phoenix symbol at the bottom, I guess, and you couldn't see it there. You thought it was Donovan Mitchell, Kaz? This guy's way taller than Donovan, but I mean, I guess there's something like that. You thought that too. Oh, yeah, well, cool. Good job. Classic card, undefeated once again. All right, let me just check my tabs, and maybe we'll get out here at an hour and a half. Not too long on the stream. Okay, first of all, there's Leo's life tip of the day. He's saying there's something in you that the world needs. I really, truly believe this, man. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And every single person, there is love. So why don't you give love? That's what the world needs more of right now. There's a lot of hateful people and a lot of crazy people that are going to be doing some crazy shit in the near future. And in some ways, the counterbalance that fights this all the best is love. Unfiltered, unadulterated love. And that's what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's right. So go ahead and give it to the world. That's what I say on the backs of Leo Routen's life tips this morning. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Randolph. Thank you, Trevor, for your words of wisdom every single day. I appreciate that. Yeah, you thought it was the hair. The hair. You know, DeAndre's kind of got that old school flat top look a little bit, and that is not totally common in the NBA today. And I guess Donovan kind of has it too. So that kind of makes sense. Yeah, the dominating. Yeah, Bahamas. Dominating. That's right. Whatever that means. I don't know. He's dominating. I don't know. In some ways, it's like he's been exiled to Portland, and in some ways, Portland is Portland. Yeah, that's what it is. Mike's saying, when's the next open gym? I don't know. They don't have a schedule this year. You know, I think that they're just what they're doing is they come out with big shows like the Vince Carter 2-part series. Probably took a lot of work to organize, and they were fantastic, masterfully done. 10 out of 10 open gym on your Vince Carter legacy 2-part episode. I think that those were the last real episodes that came out, but they're doing little open gym moments on social media. You'll see them on Instagram, like the chain celebrations and little things that they film that are just little bits that aren't full episodes. And we're getting those regularly, but there isn't necessarily an episode every week is what we're finding out. There's big, huge episodes that come out, but they're not coming out on a weekly basis. And that's just how it is, Mike, right now. As far as, I guess, the way that they want to do it, I guess that's the sacrifice. If we want our half-hour episodes instead of 10-minute episodes, well, they're not going to be every week. They could be every other week or once a month even in some cases. I think that they're going to cover mostly the big important stuff. Like they're supposed to come out with that one with that centers around Jose Calderon and Andrea Bargnani. That's the next episode that we were teased in the previews for the next time on Open Gym. And I'm waiting for that too, because I'd like to see that episode also. And I think that the subject matter, what they're talking about too, about how when Vince and Chris kind of like dissed the Raptors, you know, nobody wanted to play here is what they were trying to say. And then we focused on getting European players like Garboza and Calderon and Bargnani at that time, Turkoglu, different players like that. So I think that episode centers around the foreign players that played for the Raptors around the Bosch era, which is very, very interesting subject to me. Yeah, it was like every other Friday, but this year they drop on Wednesdays at times. Yeah, that Wednesday drop. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason right now to it. And in some ways, the Vince Carter thing was 2 huge half-hour episodes on the same week. They dropped one on Wednesday and then one on Friday, 2 days apart from each other. So I don't know, Mike. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You can't just count on it. Just be ready for it. It's going to come out when it's going to come out. And they, you know, there's so much footage that these guys have to go through and edit and get ready and fine tune for what they do with Open Gym. It's just a very difficult kind of job to do. It's very hard to cut it down and make it a concise story that makes sense. You know, that's one of the biggest jobs for reality TV right now. Think about all the stuff they film for shows like The Survivor, Amazing Race. They have so much footage of so many different things the contestants are doing that to make a narrative for each episode, they really have to slice a lot off. And they have to still make sure it fits and makes sense. They could slice important stuff out and the context is lost. So, yeah, it's a tough process to edit a show. Reality TV is very tough to edit. It may be the most toughest genre to edit in all of media is reality TV. Yeah, Wayne's saying, just checking in. What's the injury report for both teams? Well, this is a great segue to do the wrap-up for the stream real quick, as I'll do it right now once again. All right, Bruce Brown's already been ruled out for tonight, Wayne. We were hoping we'd get Bruce one game on this four-game road swing, but no, we're not. We're not going to get him. He's not going to return tonight. He's already ruled out. So the soonest he'll be back is Sunday, back in Toronto against Miami once again. Grady Dick is ruled out for today's game also. Emmanuel Quickly and Kelly Olynyk are ruled out. DJ Cart is back, and he's on it. He's not hurt, and he is with the team right now in Miami, along with Ulrich Shamshay. So the two ways both traveled to Miami in the last few days, and they are there. I don't know if they'll be dressed or available. I'm not speculating that they will be playing. I'm just saying that they are present in the location of Miami, Florida right now. And that shows that they're going to be at the game tonight and possibly in the game. So just so y'all know, Shamshay and Carton are in Miami, just so y'all know. On the Miami side of things, there are some injuries, and but they're looking like they're mostly healthy. Kevin Love is questionable for tonight due to his back. Terry Rozier is probable. Foot injury is what he's dealing with. Duncan Robinson is probable due to a left glute tightness. And then Jimmy Butler is probable against the Raptors due to back tightness. So it's sounding like those three guys that are probably going to play. So Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, you can expect, but maybe no Kevin Love. So it looks like the only injury will be Kevin Love on the Miami side. The referees for tonight, Trey Maddox is the crew chief. He favors the Raptors. Murat Kogut is the middle ref. He's the worst. He does not favor us. He favors Miami. And Brandon Schwab is the third ref, fourth season out of Orlando. He is favoring the Miami Heat also. But yeah, it's not a totally horrible ref crew. Trey Maddox is a very fair ref to us. And in some ways, he's in charge. So let him cook, Murat and Brandon. Let Trey Maddox be the one in charge and directing how y'all are going to deal with things. There's a little write-up on the in-season tournament on ESPN this morning showing the results of what's happening. The Raptors are eliminated from the East Group B for getting to the next stage of the in-season tournament. So we are playing for nothing as far as going further in this MRATS Cup. But we could actually spoil things for Miami tonight by beating them. We will eliminate them from the NBA Cup. So we're spoiler tonight. In some ways, we want to go and take something from Miami. They're very just barely in still. They're 1-2 in their games. And this is their last cup game before this part. And, well, if they lose tonight, they're 1-3. There's no way they're going to Vegas. So we can do that. We can be a spoiler tonight. You know, it's weird. The Pacers are 0-2, but they're not eliminated technically yet. It's about point differentials and stuff, and our point differential isn't good enough. So we're already eliminated from NBA Cup and East Group B. That's according to ESPN. Happy birthday. And this is a really cool birthday, guys. Happy birthday to D. Brown. D. Brown, of course, was at the Vince Carter celebration at our arena when his jersey got retired up there. He's been around the team celebrating his alumni roots with the Raptors recently. And, of course, this is another thing. This week he's a guest on Smith & Jones. So happy birthday to D. Brown, former NBA dunk champion, Reebok pump legend. And unsung Raptor. In some ways, he very much does celebrate his ties to our franchise and his time playing alongside players like Alvin Williams and Vince Carter. So, yeah, happy birthday, D. Brown. And y'all, if y'all want to hear D. Brown, go listen to Smith & Jones this week. He's the interview on their show this week. So that's a great former Raptor we all forget about at times. We really do. We really, really do. Fiercely saying, W stream, let's get the dub tonight. Yeah, I'm all about that, MJ, for sure. Trevor's saying, first NBA Cup game today, New York at noon. Lots of early games. Yeah, because of the new Thanksgiving. Yesterday, everybody's watching football. It's obviously an NFL day. It's historically always been that way, and there's a lot of people watching the NFL. Well, because they're off on Thursday, they're most likely off today. So having a noon game on a Friday after Thanksgiving makes total sense. And these are in-season tournament games also because everybody's playing today's NBA Cup. So in some ways, it's a very interesting day to have a noon game on Friday because of the holiday this week in U.S. Let's see. Mike's saying Jeff asked certain questions in the diary videos so they can create narratives. Jeff asked leading questions to creative narrative. Are you talking about Jeff Landicho? Is that who you're talking about? I don't even know if he's still working on that show, Mike. In some ways, there's questions about whether he's actually still working on the Open Gym show. I don't think he is. I think he's the original concept guy who started it, but I think he's moved on out of it. It may be that the grind and the work of it was too challenging or wasn't challenging anymore. and he wanted bigger challenges because now I think he primarily works with Giants of Africa and portraying what Masai's vision is with that program. And he's not necessarily working for the Raptors directly right now, just so you know. Jeff Probst. You're talking about Jeff Probst with Survivor. Okay, Jeff asks certain questions in the diary videos so they can create narratives. Jeff asking leading questions to create a narrative. Yeah, you can see this on the show without even the interview diary sections. Sure, the producers manipulate storylines and they amp up characters as villains or whatever characteristic they want to put on display. Now, the really evident way you can see Jeff Probst kind of probing with his name, Probst, is in Tribal Council. There's quite often times where Jeff will go after people. In fact, this episode this week, if you're watching the current Survivor right now, he goes at Genevieve at one point. She's the Canadian player this season from Winnipeg, and she's very conniving. She's not very likable to me, honestly. She stabbed a lot of people in the back. And I don't like her. Usually I very much root for the Canadian player that's on the season of Survivor, but I can't stand her. I want her to be gone soon. Well, in the Tribal Council this week, Jeff very openly calls her out and says, "You look unhappy. You don't look happy, or like you seem like this, and you're normally very more talkative." He called her out right in front of everybody right there. And that is part of what Mike is talking about right there, is that he can shape things just from what he says to them while they're all sitting there in Tribal Council. And they cut so much out of there. The editing of that is usually Tribal Council is like 3-hour process. It's a very long thing. They'll be sitting out there and filming a long time, and it takes way longer than you see on the show. They edit it down to just the parts that really matter. And wow, that show's amazing. And you're right. It's not necessarily Jeff who's asking those questions. It's the producers behind the scenes. And Jeff just comes in and does the host stuff. You got to remember, he's getting up there. Jeff Probst is no spring chicken. And in some ways, he's not doing all that kind of stuff behind the scenes because he's in his bungalow and he only comes out for when he films. It's the producers of Survivor that are doing that stuff that you're talking about, Mike. That's right. And they'll build heroes and villains on that show to fit their narratives. Very, very interesting. I'll talk Survivor, y'all. If y'all want to talk Survivor, I haven't been talking about it this season, but I will talk Survivor. I'm very knowledgeable of the show, and I am current on what's happening on the show right now. Yeah, it's a fantastic show. And it never ceases to amaze me how each season is different and original in itself in different ways. Very, very interesting. Of course, they got rid of Kyle this week, which was smart because Kyle won 4 challenges and was just, and they needed to get rid of him. But if they'd gone Genevieve this week, I wouldn't have been surprised either, too. So, yeah, that's right. Wayne saying probably against us means they play. Yeah. Probable means they're going to play. Probable means what it means. They're probable. They're probably going to play. Exactly. Yeah. Fiercely saying Caleb Martin was a way better fit in Miami. Yeah, I think they messed up with letting Martin get out of there. Maratin is what you're calling him? Maratin? Yeah, I think they messed up. In some ways, Strus was another one that I was like, man, you can't let Strus walk, man. He's like your best three-point shooter in some ways. It's really, really bad. Wayne's saying nobody wants us to get on a roll. Too dangerous a team to gain confidence. Well, in some ways, that was why they stacked the deck against us from the start of the season with the schedule. Is in some ways, how do you defeat a young team that's inexperienced? Well, throw them the gauntlet and make them discouraged, make them feel losing, and hope that they lose enthusiasm and they just kind of give up. Well, that's the thing. We've been successful. Once again, Darko sails a ship of his team through tumultuous waters and keeps everybody's spirits up. Maybe there's enough rum on this pirate ship that everybody's keeping happy. But either way, we're successful in getting through the very difficult part of this beginning of the season, and things are still going in the right direction. That's fantastic. That's an accomplishment in it right there, because they did try and break our spirit. You're right, Wayne. They did try and break our spirit with an extremely difficult schedule to start the season. Extremely difficult. Blackhawks saying league pass is half price. I'm tempted to buy it. Hey, do it if you feel like it. Yeah, you know what? They're doing something nice for people right now. Half price league pass. Hey, with the blackouts and the way things work, sometimes it's annoying. Let's see. Kareem saying, I used to love watching Survivor, but now my wife got me watching The Bachelor and Bachelorettes and shit like 90 Day Fiance. My life is a mess outside of sports. There's a lot of junk TV out there. Shows like Love Island. And there's a lot of garbage shows out there. But in some ways, I love that genre. In some ways, I really do love reality TV. And in the most mindless, stupidest shows like The Osbournes, Jersey Shore,
Bam Margera's Viva La Bam. There's so many different old reality shows that are absolutely useless pieces of garbage that do not contribute anything to the world, but they're so enjoyable guilty pleasures. It's so crazy, man. It is so crazy. It's such a weird genre. And in some ways, I love it. I love it. I enjoy watching reality TV more than dramas and stuff that's written and stuff. And I know some people that are creative arts would hate me saying this, but I do. I really do enjoy. There's something about, even if it's not totally real reality TV, there's something about the psychology of common people, not celebrities, not people that are out there doing stuff, people that are every day that come on shows like Survivor and Amazing Race. There's just something that's so appealing and fun to see the psychology of common people in extraordinary situations. And that's part of the secret of reality TV being so awesome. Man, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's right. Kaz is saying, Lex, who are you rooting for to win Survivor? You know, I really want Teeny to win right now, and partly because she's avenging Solomon. And Solomon was the one that I wanted to win from before because the way Jerome was so awful to him at that one point, treating him when he was down, kicking him around and saying, yeah, you can't do anything. I'm going to just kick you out. And then him getting his comeuppance and Rome getting kicked out was like awesome. I felt that with Solomon. And then when Genevieve stabbed him in the back and Rachel went with Genevieve after Solomon basically saved Rachel's ass, really pissed me off. I really go down those lines of loyalty like Sue, and it pissed me off. And Genevieve was dead to me after that. And in some ways, I admire Teeny picking up the sword to say, I'm going to get her for Solomon. So I'm going for Teeny right now. I also really like Rachel. I think that Rachel's got a real power position right now, seeing that she has an immunity idol and a block the vote, and she's in the center of everything with this underdog alliance that formed this week, that I think she has a very strong chance to win this season. Yeah, I really do. I can't stand Sam. I can't stand Andy. And in fact, Andy's a weird one, man. Andy is an AI research assistant. And I'm thinking this psychopath is an example of who's working in AI in our society right now. We're fucked. We are fucked. That Andy guy's a psychopath. In fact, this season of Survivor might as well be called Survivor 47 Psychopaths, because there's clinical sociopaths that are on this season right now. Andy is one of them. Genevieve is one of them. And so is, whatchamacallit, the other girl, Caroline. Caroline's a psychopath also. Did you see how she was gleefully laughing during the Jenga game about messing things up? And she was trying to make it hard for them to mess up, and then she lost it herself. But yeah, there's psychopaths on this season. And some of it is because they have creatives that do broadcasting things. Like they're all like podcasters and people that work in the media. So it's a very interesting season with that particular group that's involved there. I wouldn't mind Sue winning either. Sue's been an underdog, and being 59 and doing what she's doing right now is really impressive to me also. So there, I have my favorites. They're the underdog side. I'm not rooting for Genevieve or Sam at this point. Those two can go, and we'll fight it out between the final five. And I don't want it to be Kyle either. No, I don't want it to be that dude either. I would be happy with Teeny. I would be happy with Sue. I would be happy with I don't know if I'd be happy with Caroline, to be honest, because I feel like she's been a snake, and Gabe called her out for it too when he got voted out. I was a big Gabe fan too. I liked Gabe, and I was kind of mad that Gabe got stuck in the back too. But yeah, it's a very interesting season. In some ways, I've been disappointed this season because it seems like people of color have been going out all right in a row from the beginning of the season. It's like everybody who was black got voted out like really quickly in the season. And in some ways that I pay attention to that kind of stuff in some ways, because in some ways there's a lot of social science that's in Survivor. In fact, there's professors in the States that study this and make it part of their assignments, because there is real stuff in Survivor that can be gleaned, even though it's reality and, you know, some people think it's fake. So yeah, that's how I feel about it right there. I guess that answers your question. That's right. Mike saying Jeff Probst used to do all the diary interviews with the survivors. That's why he's loved by contestants. They talk to him a lot. Now he's probably just a host and an executive producer. Well, he's pushing 70. Like I think he's in his 70s or something like that, Mike. And in some ways, he's been doing this for so long. In some ways, he's an executive producer because, you know, he's a big part of the identity of that show. But he probably doesn't have to do half the heavy lifting he had to do in the very beginning of the show. And some of the stuff at this point, he's like, I don't need to do this. Y'all can go do this. I don't need to be present for this. And I bet you he only does on camera stuff at this point. All the behind the scenes production stuff, his name as an executive producer is because he's earned it, because he's the face of the show. And yeah, he may have done that stuff early on, but he's not doing it now. No, he's not. I'll bet you money. Smooth saying Nick Nurse looking sicker by the day. You know, Nick Nurse started look like his health was declining in those last year of the Raptors, and stress will do that to you. When you're inauthentic with yourself and you're not being truthfully yourself, stress will do that to you, man. And that's what it is, Nick. When you're trying to play a role and act like you're something that you're not, well, it can be very stressful because it's not natural and you're not being authentic. And that's a big part of it with Nick. Now it's just stress from pressure, stress from failure, stress from, you know, I got to really worry about my job. I'm in a crazy market and people will come after me with knives out. And, you know, people up here, you say we're fascinating and good luck with our guys. Well, in some ways, look, dealing with the Toronto press and the Toronto fans, as crazy and weird as we are, is not the same as dealing with the Philadelphia press and the Philadelphia fans. I have to say this right now. It's very different. Very different. He's finding that out. Smith saying he should consider stepping down for his own health. You know, this is something that's been a topic this year because of Popovich. Popovich had a stroke this year, and he's had to step out. And Mitch Johnson has been coaching the Spurs now as Popovich recovers. You know, I don't know. I don't know what Nick should do. I think that Nick's stubborn, and I think that Nick would coach right up until he dropped dead before he'd step out and admit that his health is in a place where he shouldn't be coaching. I'll bet you that knowing his personality, that's probably what he'd do. I mean, he does it to his players. Why wouldn't he run himself to the ground 40 minutes a game, play only your starters? Let's do him himself. He's going to do it himself, too. Mike saying, MILF Manor. Oh, yeah, that show. MILF Manor. Laugh out loud. Moms and their sons mingle and date each other's moms. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that is just a train wreck. That is just a real dumpster fire. That just the description of the show you just told me sounds like, yeah, there's not a whole lot of redeeming qualities to that show, but boy, I'll bet you it's a lot of fun to watch. I bet you a lot of fun to watch. One of my old favorite shows I used to like watching was Surreal Life, when they had the celebrities in the house together, like Vern Troyer and Gary Coleman and MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice. They'd have them all living in a house together, and they would not get along. That shit was funny. They did a wrestling one at one point with like Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Roddy Piper and Mean Gene were living in a house too. In Your House was what it was called. I like those kind of celebrity reality shows when they make them live together or do jobs together and stuff like that. Like the Paris Hilton reality show was fun because she had to go and do farm work. And everybody's like watching Paris be like, ew, it stinks and stuff like that. Yeah, bitch, get in there and shovel shit. Those shows were fun because of that kind of stuff. Not a lot of redeeming qualities, but, you know, a guilty pleasure. Indeed, a guilty pleasure. Yeah. Fiercely saying, I watch Love is Blind with my daughters so that she can suss out how losers treat the ladies. There you go. There's a redeeming quality to some of this trash TV. These are great bad examples. And you can teach your children how not to act from the bad examples on these shows. You know, we can think about great villains throughout the history of reality TV shows. People like New York from Flavor of Love. You know, there's different people that have different kind of things that are about them. And they're really good examples for us to teach young people. Don't be like that. And yeah, that's a great show to teach about relationships. Love Island. Not Love is Blind. That's a weird one because they sit on screens from each other and talk to each other and they get to know each other and then they pick each other. And there's this awkward moment every season where the people see the person and they're not physically attracted to them, even though they were attracted to them talking through a screen. And that's good TV once again, right there with some tough life lessons right there. So yeah, I have no problem with this. In some ways, if I had children, everything that they were kind of ingesting or watching, I would want to give them the Cliff Notes of my opinion on what it is and how they should probably view it. And that's good parenting. That is good parenting right there. Yeah, Kareem saying, I love everything that has to do with competition, no matter sport or reality TV. I used to love the Road Rules show too. Like when they take the old MTV, people like The Miz, and they compete in really crazy, stupid competitions. And they got so like competitive. And they're doing pranks to each other in other places. That show was fun to me. Like the old Road Rules show that kind of spawned off of Real World. Yeah, that was an interesting time on MTV reality TV and stuff. Kaz is saying, I feel bad for Teeny. Everyone she trusts stabs her in the back. Rachel's an excellent spot. Dark horse is Andy. Yeah, Andy's a psycho. You can look at him when he talks about it, and he's like, I'm so ready to stab them in the back. He's so gleeful and he's smiling about it. And like I said, these are the people that are in charge of developing AI in society. People like Andy from freaking Survivor right now. I don't want dudes like that shaping the world of AI in the future because that dude is a psycho. And he obviously does not have, he's lacking in empathy that's important to humans as far as human beings need empathy. And he doesn't have it. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, we're seeing really good examples of people with no empathy that are sociopathic on Survivor this season. In some ways, we're seeing this. It's different seasons. There's like one season was all egos. Everybody had a fucking ego. And it was like to the nine. So often there are egos every season. But this season, there's a sociopathic tinge to this cast, to Survivor this year, which is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, Teeny has been such an underdog the whole time. And I was really impressed with her sharing her story in recent weeks about her sexual identification. She didn't have to do that whole aspect. And as far as I was concerned, it seemed like they had their life already figured out as far as where they are, but they were really giving a good example for people as far as like, look, I look like I'm holding it together, but actually I struggle with this every day. And that can go so far for people that are like her, that are in that kind of situation in society. So Teeny's awesome. Teeny's really, really awesome. And they have a very good demeanor and way to them. That's really cool. Very likable. Very likable. Youngest contestant on the show right now, too. And in some ways, if they come back and win it, that's going to be a huge accomplishment. Mike's saying political chess is interesting in Survivor and Big Brother and the Traitors. Yeah, it gives you an idea of group dynamic. It gives you an idea about voting and also politicking. And yeah, Big Brother is another whole enchilada with this thing. I used to love Big Brother. I was watching when Janelle and Kaser were on that show. And those seasons back then were awesome. It's kind of degenerated and gotten more trashy and less easy to watch. The people on it are less likable. Sometimes you need likable people on the show to be watching it. If you hate everybody on a show's cast, you're like, I don't want to fucking watch this because I'm not rooting for anybody to win because I hate them all. And Big Brother kind of got like that for a couple years and turned me off from watching it. Yeah, Cool Cat saying, good morning, Rapid Free crew. Joining a bit late, better late than never. That's right. I got 4 minutes. And we're talking reality TV, Cool Cat, this morning. So get your reality TV comments in for right now. Trevor J's got my cutoff. I appreciate that. Mike's saying, not gonna lie, I was more into the theme seasons of Survivor, but they ran out of ideas by the end. Well, in some ways, I'm glad they're doing what they're doing. They have a spot that they do it at that makes sense financially. You know, in some ways, it had to do with COVID. In some ways, it had to do with degradation of environments. You know, I don't want Survivor to make a new place where it challenges every single time. I'm glad they do it in the same spot and don't tear down more trees and natural environments on the islands that they filmed the show. That in some ways they do need to think about their environmental concerns and impact of doing a show in those kind of environments. And switching places and tearing up different places all around the world is just not something I like. And I wouldn't stand for if they did it that way. But them doing it in the same locations all the time, it makes them have to be innovative with the gameplay and strategy and throwing new curveballs at them as far as like the boat's coming to take you to this raft out in the middle of the ocean. And you have this thing tied to these weights and it's going to pull the table off the raft. And they just have to be innovative with that kind of stuff and the idols and the different ways. Like, I think that was really smart how they did the thing with Sue this season with the blood, the red. That was crazy. And how was she supposed to cover that up in the middle of camp and with the red paint all over the place? And like, what happened? And she had literally caught red-handed. And yeah, that the innovation of those kind of aspects of the show to me are really, really rewarding to see how the producers continue to change the show to keep it fresh. And they have to keep the super fans guessing. They literally had a contestant in recent seasons that studied all the puzzles on Survivor, recreated them at his house, built them, and practiced them before he even went on the show. And he was every single puzzle he did, he kicked ass on, and he won because he knew them all. And then they were like, "Oh crap, these super fans are crazy into the show." and they're looking at everything and understanding everything about the show at this point, we have to be able to throw curveballs to these kind of people. So it's not as easy as it's said and done. Cass saying, I don't like Sue after all the rude stuff she was saying about Kyle. Yeah, I don't get why she hated Kyle so much. Like, I don't totally get that. Obviously, sometimes people just rub each other the wrong way and they don't get along. I think in some ways, Sue may be reminded of someone in her own life. Kyle reminds her of that because Kyle's a saint. You're right. Kyle got kicked off with the most modest, amazing reaction. And in some ways, some of the people leaving the show this year have been absolutely pissed off, crying, upset, so crazy all over the reactions the different contestants have had when they've got their torch snuffed out. And Kyle went out with his head held high and hugging everybody. Yes, I don't understand why Sue's so mad at him. I think that she had a personal gripe against him because maybe he reminded her of somebody that she from her real life that she doesn't like. That can happen with people. People can have a discrimination against someone just because they remind them of somebody they hate. And it could very well be that Kyle had some attributes that were similar to somebody in her life that she's having problems with. It could very well be she has a child, a son, and he's pissing her off. And he reminds her of him so much. That could be part of it right there. I was wondering why she was so mad at him. And that comment about Tweedledee, Tweedledum was kind of Andy manipulating the situation and not totally the whole truth. It's not that Kyle called them Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Andy made that shit up and lied to Sue. So there's a little bit of that going on too, and why people hate each other. Lies. Trevor's saying, you guys want reality TV. Watch Naked and Afraid. People walking around naked in the woods. It's crazy. Yeah, this is like a Survivor Man kind of show where they really put people in the elements. And then some people will say this is the real Survivor. Yeah, I mean, I've heard about this show, and it is a little crazy. It's a little crazy from what I hear. Stargate saying, good morning, Rapid Freak family. A bit late. Let's get a win in Miami tonight. There you go. People showing up, and there's my cutoff. And Jimmy saying, I feel you, Kaz. There you go. Yeah, I know some people don't like Sue, but the reason why I like Sue is because she is the oldest contestant. She's lying to them and telling them she's like 45, where she's really 59. And in some ways, I really do like her competitive spirit and what she's doing. Plus, I have to admit something. My parents and Adrienne and I do a Survivor draft every season, and we draft players to have on our teams, and one of us wins, whoever wins the Survivor. And I have Sue on my team. So in some ways, I'm kind of rooting for Sue, partly because she's on my Survivor team this season. I've got her and Rachel left. Those are my two players that are left. I had Gabe and I had TK early, and he got kicked out way early. But yeah, I had a pretty good team, and Sue's one of them. That's part of the reason why I have affinity for her. Let's see. Fiercely saying, from fascinating to intense fan base. Yeah, intense. Yeah, we're intense. Intense down there too in Philly. That's right. Mike's saying Vern Troyer was the GOAT of Surreal Life. Yeah, him pissing all over the place. Oh my God. That dude was drunk, so drunk during that whole season. And yeah, he'd be on his little scooter and just peeing off the side of it. And like, that was crazy, man. That was crazy. Surreal Life is off the chain, man. If you could binge watch that show, you'd have a lot of fun. Seriously, if you could get it. Trevor's saying, my bus is outside my house. The driver told me you got a beautiful house. There you go. Trevor's living that life. The party bus driver saying, man, you got a beautiful house, Trevor. I'm sure it is, man. That'd be cool to come down there and see Trevor's place. That'd be fun. You're going to get all Raptors freak to come back to Florida. I told myself I'd never go back to the state of Florida, but maybe I'd come back just to see Trevor's house. Maybe I would. I never want to set foot in Florida ever again. I really don't, honestly. Blackhawk saying Surreal Life was good. It was so goofy, man. China was on that show too for a while. China. Yeah. Mike saying Russell Hans is like the Braun of Survivor. They are like the same, in my opinion, sacrificing companions to get the credit. I don't know if Russell's like LeBron's such a huge title in the NBA. You can't say that. I would say that somebody that's more longevity is like Boston Rob. Boston Rob is like the LeBron of Survivor because he's been on like 6 seasons. It's like longevity and also wins in their interspersed. Now, maybe the Michael Jordan of Survivor is Sandra, because Sandra won twice. I think she's like one of only like 2 or 3 people that was won Survivor twice. And Sandra was like the early juggernaut of Survivor, just kind of like a Michael Jordan, kind of like she's going to come in, she's going to play, she's going to win. And that's kind of what was happening with Sandra, the old cop that was in early Survivor series. Yeah. Russell Hands was a villain. Russell Hands he was such a piece of crap. I hated that guy.
Stargate saying, not into scripted reality TV shows, not my thing. I'd rather watch shows like Lioness and Doom Prophecy. Yeah, I mean, to each their own. Yeah, Silo's good too. Yeah, to each their own. I mean, in some ways, we got on this tangent. I don't remember exactly how, but we are on it today, and it is a topic that I am knowledgeable of in some ways. In some ways, I maybe I should watch more drama and written kind of creative stuff, but I don't know why. I'm so fascinated with the augmented reality of reality TV. In some ways, there are pure reality shows that are very reality. And then there is a lot of kind of like producers' notes and shaping the show and this different kind of stuff. That is undeniably true. What Stargate saying there. Mike's saying Russell Hans gets the finale and loses like Braun too. Laugh my ass off. Okay, that then your analogy is starting to make more sense. Carlos saying, I heard about people that have no ability to feel empathy, like psychopaths. Maybe this shines a light on why CEOs only think of money instead of people. No, this is very true. In fact, they've done studies on this, and the data is there. Sociopaths are more likely to be in CEO positions. And in some ways, the ability to get to those positions at so high, you have to be sociopathic to fight your way to the top. And in some ways, the worst human beings are in charge of these companies because in some ways they have a disconnect between human connection and what the impact on human terms is for more the red and blue black ink of their company and how it's doing is more important than actually the human cost. And that's sociopathic right there. The fact that somebody can make decisions to cut a lot of jobs right before Christmas and really have huge economic impacts on a lot of people and not think twice about it because they're detached from it is sociopathic. And that is a very common trait in CEOs and top business leaders in the world today. And that's sad because in some ways, these are the people at this point that are buying politicians and running our world and making the rules. And that's a scary, sad thing in this world right now. It really, really is. Mike's saying China is still one of my favorite seasons. The whole theme was really, really good. Survivor China. Yeah. I like the Australia one too. And the one that was in Africa was crazy because they had to have sticks around their camp while they slept because there were lions prowling around outside of them. And I remember that's the season with Ethan Zahn when he won. It's like the third or fourth season. And he said, we'd be sleeping and you could hear the grumbling and the purrs of giant lions just on the other side from us. And it was scary as hell. That's so crazy, man. It's so crazy. Cool Cat saying, I don't watch reality TV at all. Laugh out loud. I love great character development. I'm a book lover first and foremost. It's interesting because the crazy thing is on these reality shows, they are characters. They become characters. And some of them are larger than their actual real life selves. But some of them are very true to who they are. And it's kind of crazy. There is some reality in reality shows, even with producers manipulating things. In some ways, I think it's so fascinating when you do have ordinary, everyday people that aren't trained actors being on shows like Survivor. I think that's very interesting to me. Let's see. Mike saying Pearl Island's pirate theme was OP. That was a very good one, too. Rupert stealing the shoes. The whole pirate motif with Rupert in the cast absolutely worked. Absolutely worked. Mike saying when Outcast battle back, the town part at first. So many good episodes. Yep. Let's see. Trevor saying another stupid reality show is dating while being naked. Trevor's like telling me all the different shows that have to do with being naked and afraid in the woods, dating and naked. Okay. Mike saying Tony is the Jordan. I don't know if Tony's the Jordan. It's Sandra. Sandra's the Jordan. Yeah, Tony's a little too cocky too. I didn't like Tony either. Let's see. Mike saying Tony won Winners at War, and 2 out of 3 got bottled by Sandra and Game Changers, but Tony got Sandra and Winners at War. Okay, Mike is a super fan, obviously, because he's calling out the different outcomes. Wayne saying the best reality show is U.S. politics. I don't know if it's a fun show to watch though. No drama show script would survive one series. It would be considered unrealistic. Yeah. I mean, they've had fake shows that were reality shows. There was a show called Just Joe that USA did that had the one guy who was in the show. He's told it was a reality show, but everybody was an actor and in on the joke, and it was one elaborate, big, huge prank. But he really believed it, and that was such a weird show. Of course, Fuckface, who just won the presidency, used to have his reality show
which was all weird. I really enjoyed his old show in some ways back in the day. I did watch The Apprentice, but yeah, in some ways, I would. You can watch that show and you can see exactly why he shouldn't be president. Watching The Apprentice, you can understand exactly why that dude should not be president. Honestly. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Stargate saying, as you know, I'm a huge wrestling fan like you, Lex, especially the 80s and 90s. We could talk wrestling all day. That's the ultimate TV, reality TV. Yeah, in some ways, wrestling has had a huge influence on reality TV being what it is, for sure. I agree with that. And I should get done. I'm 10 minutes over now. Mike's saying Tony won $2 million for Winners at War, so he's won the most money at $3 million. Okay, but still, I don't like him. I don't want to give him that moniker. And the original GOAT was Sandra. And I'm just going to say that over again. Sandra is the original GOAT. I don't like Tony the cop, and I'm not going to give Tony that shine that you're going to give him. All right, I did the rundown. I don't need to do any more. Y'all, thanks for watching me today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and join the channel if you feel like it. There are some privileges to being a member of this channel. And tonight, let's hope that the Raptors can continue their winning ways recently and beat the Miami Heat in Miami in a NBACUP game, in-season tournament game, third game of the NBA Cup, and we'll have our last game in the NBA Cup next Tuesday against Pascal and the Pacers. So, yeah, let's get it. Let's stay on task. Let's continue to build on good things, rookies and young players. Scotty, carry, and take over and win this game. Get some shine. The in-season tournament is a spotlight to a degree, and if you want to do heroic stuff and make your legend and your prominence and spotlight bigger in the NBA, you need to do stuff that it gets noticed. And that's what I want to see from you, Scotty Barnes. That's right. That's right. Tony and Sandra are tied in wins. There you go. And Smooth saying classic card. We did it already. And Nins got the classic card today. It was DeAndre Ayton. And very impressed to see a new person get the classic card. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. I'll be back tomorrow to react to our game tonight, 9:30 a.m. Saturday morning. And y'all have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving once again to our American friends down south. And yeah, let's go Raptors. Down to the arena on the party bus with Trevor J, with 22 rabid, great Raptors fans. They're coming down there with Trevor, going to get loud and hopefully help cheer our team to victory. And remember to wear your sunglasses because that court is awful bright. Yeah, it's like staring at the sun. That's right. That's right. Tony's 2-3 and Sandra's 2-4. All right, Mike, you're once again beating a dead horse. In some ways, I did not want to talk about Tony for 10 minutes on my stream. And you're bringing in like little blurbs. We'll talk about it for a second. We move on. And if you have a difference of opinion with me, we have to allow each other to have the difference of opinion and not have a declarative winner at the end of it. I'll allow you to say Tony is your Michael Jordan of Survivor, and you should allow me to say that Sandra is my Michael Jordan for Survivor. And that's just okay, okay? So let it go is what I'm saying. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Let's go Raptors!